things are a lot different than they were in the Southeast.
I'm the same way. I'm from the Southeast as well.
Which is a lot different than things are in California, which is a lot different than how things are in, say, Montana or
Texas?
Idaho.
It's different in Texas than it is in Florida.
Yes.
I mean, I lived most all my life in Florida, then moved here to New Hampshire as part of the Free State Project, which, by the way, crossed to 96% of its goal today. We can talk more about that a little bit later. But yeah, New England's like a completely different world. Sure, people speak mostly the same language here. They speak a little different on some things like ka or uba. Uba.
Oh, it's a wicked pissa.
Yeah. So, I mean, but there's also cultural things that are different just between here and there as well. So, yeah, what does it mean to have Russian ideology? Well, they don't define that. So let's go on. The books, which most of them, by the way, are textbooks, were published with money from the Soros Fund, which in November was declared an, quote, undesirable agent, unquote.
Hold on. The Soros Fund, that's George Soros.
Presumably, yes.
And most Republicans here in the United States don't like George Soros. So, does that mean that most Republicans are agreeing with Vladimir Putin and the Russian government? Let that one sink in for a moment there, Republicans that think that Vladimir Putin is the worst thing ever. You agree with him on something.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you're jumping to a conclusion there, Darryl, that someone who's a Republican would support book burning. I mean, maybe there are people in our audience who do support book burning, and if so, would love to hear from you tonight as to which books should be burned.
Hold on. I didn't say they necessarily supported book burning.
Okay.
But they agree with Vladimir Putin in opposition of George Soros.
That Soros is an undesirable agent, but
yes.
You say they might not go so far as to demand that his books be burned?
They might not go that far, but they might.
They might. So if you want to tell us about your book burning tendencies, our toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. Have you ever seen a good book and wanted to burn it? Or I guess you wouldn't consider it to be good. Have you ever seen a book sitting on a shelf in a library and you just felt like you needed to throw it into a pyre? Toll-free number, 855-450-FREE.
Now, there's various reasons that one would burn a book. Sometimes you only have a book and it's cold and you need to start a fire.
If it's staying warm and staying alive, then it makes sense to do that.
And then there are people that want to burn the book because they do not want anyone to read the words on the paper because those words are foreign to Russian ideas or American ideas or Texas or wherever it is that you live, and you want to burn the book because you don't like it.
Now, this is in stark contrast to a story we discussed last night where librarians were actually openly protecting their customers here in the United States, especially the customers, the people who were checking out books that were heretical in nature, I believe were the words.
Heretical text.
That it was the librarian's duty to protect that person's identity beyond a certain period of time. So this is very, very much a contrast to that. In this case, the books over in Russia were removed from libraries in 2 colleges in the northwestern Komi region, and some were later burned. The Komi education minister said in a letter dated Wednesday that the books were destroyed to fulfill an order from a presidential envoy requesting that books published with funds from the Soros Fund be removed from circulation. So this definitely did come down from Vladimir Putin himself, presidential envoy coming there to take and burn books. The letter was sent to a local news site in response to a request for information, and George Soros is apparently a Hungarian-born American businessman considered one of the 30 richest people in the world. So there you have it. Books still being burned, and I imagine there are probably other stories about book burnings going on in the rest of the world. This is just the one that I happen to come across. So I wonder how often book burnings happen today. Here in the 21st century, in the year 2016, how common is it that people will burn books? And if you want to share your thoughts on it as a practice in general, you're certainly welcome to join us here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. What books would you want to see burned? I mean, because there've been a couple videos online recently of like the college kids being interviewed like with a hidden camera, you know, after this whole microaggression thing started to blow up on college campuses. And one of the videos, I believe the guy's named Ari who does the video. I'd never seen him before, but he interviews college students and asks them if they want to get rid of the First Amendment. Just get rid of the whole First Amendment, the whole, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, right to petition, all of it. Get rid of the whole First Amendment. And he was getting a surprising number of people who were willing to just sign a petition to abolish the First Amendment.
Wow.
So I wonder if, it would be interesting to follow up that question those college kids were asked about the First Amendment. Follow that up with, do you think that we should go ahead and implement getting rid of the First Amendment and then, go ahead and burn some books? Because that's the next step, right? If you get rid of freedom of speech, then you got to clear up all the stuff that you don't want people to hear.
Right. And we've talked on the show before about the large number of people that say that certain books should be banned. But again, in this country. But again, it's one of those things to where, like Pew or Public Policy Polling, whoever it is doing the surveys, they're asking questions in a certain order to where it might just be putting in the mind of the person, oh, yeah, there are things I don't want my first grader to read.
Mm-hmm.
But that wasn't the specific question, even though it's 3 questions after. Do you think that certain things should be taught in school? They then ask the question, are there certain books that you think should be banned? Yes, absolutely. So you don't really know what the people are thinking when they say yes, books should be banned. If you ask them that question independent of all of the other questions, maybe they would give a different answer.
And that's why we have talk radio, so we can ask those questions. If you want to share your thoughts on banning books, are there any that you want to get rid of? 855-450-FREE.
At Van Dyke Mortgage, we would like to thank our military veterans. This is Charlie Sundstrom with your Van Dyke Mortgage Minute. For your service to our country, the Veterans Administration or VA loans are available for active, non-active, and retired veterans who meet the established requirements to assist in buying or refinancing a home loan. The most notable features and benefits for those who qualify are 100% financing, no monthly mortgage insurance, a variety of terms or loan types, reduced costs for disabled veterans, and no seller prepayment penalty. At Van Dyke Mortgage, we work hard to be your trusted mortgage advisor and can help analyze your personal situation and give you advice that matters. For your mortgage pre-approval and refi needs, start by visiting VanDykeMortgage.com. That's VanDykeMortgage.com.
Corporate NMLS 3035. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Charlie Sundstrom, NMLS 134251.
Did you know that home break-ins increase more than 100% during the holidays? It takes just 10 seconds for an intruder to kick in your door. But police response to a home alarm system is more than 20 minutes. And intruders are in and out of your home in 5 minutes. Thieves know that you're not home and have presents inside just waiting to be taken. And if you are home, how safe will you feel with an intruder lurking inside with your family? That's why police across the country are recommending you use Door Armor. Proven to withstand the force of a battering ram, Door Armor keeps intruders out. It's easy to install and barely visible, and your Door Armor is guaranteed for life. Go to InvasionStopper.com for a very special buy one, get one at half-off deal. These savings are for a limited time and only available to GCN listeners. Protect your valuables and loved ones this holiday season. Go to InvasionStopper.com now. That's InvasionStopper.com.
Understanding your credit score is the first step towards managing and improving it. This is Charlie Sundstrom with your Van Dyke Mortgage Minute. The most influential component of your credit score is your payment history. Almost equally as important is the amount you owe on credit accounts. Also impacting your score, but to a lesser degree, are the length of time you've utilized your credit, the number of new accounts, credit inquiries, and your various types of credit accounts. To help achieve or maintain a healthy credit score, have a system set up to assure your bills are always paid on time. Don't max out your cards. It's better to have a high credit limit with a low balance. Never close old accounts. The age of these can actually help your credit score. But don't be afraid to use your credit. You need several accounts in order to have a credit score. Just keep the corresponding payments within your means. For your mortgage pre-approval and refi needs, start by visiting VanDykeMortgage.com.
Corporate NMLS 3035. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Charlie Sundstrom, NMLS 134251.
DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronics, photo, cell phone, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more. It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.freetalklive.com. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit Free Talk Live when you enter Amazon via shop.freetalklive.com.
How many lawyers does it take to change a light bulb? None. They'd rather keep their clients in the dark. There are too many lawyer jokes to count. However, there are some lawyers with more noble intentions. At the Institute for Justice, we bring the light to our clients. We are a non-profit public interest law firm with clear values and principles. At IJ, we fight for those whose most basic rights are denied by the government. Visit our website today at ij.org.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Join us on the radio waves here. Toll-free number. That is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. And joining you in the studio tonight, you've got me, Ian.
And Darryl.
Coming up, the Liberty Forum is right around the corner. I mean, pretty much. It's going to be here before you know it. We got a month to go, and those 4 weeks are just going to fly by. February 18th is when it starts. It goes through the 21st. It's a Thursday through Sunday, happening in Manchester, New Hampshire at the Radisson Hotel. Great hotel, the largest convention space in all of New Hampshire. So it's an awesome event. It's put on by the Free State Project every year. Basically serves as a showcase to kind of show off the community here, the liberty community that we have. The Free State Project, of course, the idea of getting libertarians to move to the same place, same geographic area, which is New Hampshire, was chosen about a decade ago now. And there have been people moving here ever since, but the official move doesn't begin until the Free State Project reaches 20,000 signatures. And we're getting close to 20,000. We're at 96% of the goal as of today. So the Liberty Forum is likely going to be taking place after that goal is reached. So it'll be the very first Liberty Forum since the goal has been reached. Very, very exciting times. Edward Snowden is going to be the keynote speaker there. And there are other great speakers and panel discussions.
We'll actually be able to see that.
The Edward Snowden, yeah, because it's in the afternoon, not the evening, when we're going to be broadcasting live. We'll be broadcasting every single night there at the Liberty Forum. So we'll look forward to seeing you in real life, and you'll get to experience New Hampshire winter, but mostly be in a hotel where it's nice and warm. So check it out. Go to nhlibertyforum.com and get signed up there. Get your tickets locked in and register for your hotel room ASAP. I don't know how many hotel rooms there are left. I've heard they've been going quickly, so you don't want to be left out of the hotel. If you're going to be at Liberty Forum, it's best to stay in the hotel. Of course, there are always other options. nhlibertyforum.com. It's February 18th through the 21st. We go to Doug in Michigan. You're on Free Talk Live with Ian and Darryl. Hello, Doug.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Hey, Doug, what's on your mind tonight?
Well, I know our universities have been teaching nothing but collectivism for generations now, so nobody seems to know the opposite philosophies and our founding of individual rights. I think they should both be taught so we can make an intelligent decision. But if you guys think George Soros is an American businessman, I will burn any book that you guys write, because that man is not an American businessman. He's a destroyer of currencies. He doesn't produce a damn thing. He doesn't provide a service that anybody uses in the free market. He's a destroyer.
Well, I don't know that much about the guy. I mean, I'm just what I was reading was from a news article about books being burned that I guess he funded. So you're saying he earned a bunch of money by not doing business? I don't know anything about the guy. I just know he's rich.
He earned money by destroying currencies and betting against them.
All I know about the guy is he's a billionaire.
What books did he not want to burn, by the way?
Well, there were apparently books that he had funded, some sort of textbooks the Russian government has now decided to burn. So what you're saying is he was really good at investing money in, like you said, he bet against certain currencies. I mean, it sounds like you're a little jealous.
No, I'm not jealous.
Okay.
I'm an American businessman actually producing a profit and producing a service that people are willing to buy.
Mm-hmm.
He's not that type of businessman at all. He's not a capitalist. He's an anti-capitalist.
Yeah, well, I never said he was one or the other.
Nor did I.
Understanding capitalism is supposed to belong to us and not government. That's fascism. He's a fascist. He's one of the organizers of a new world order that's going to be based on communism.
So a fascist communist system. It sounds kind of like what we have today.
Yeah. I'm living in what is left of a capitalist society, doing in an industry that doesn't have any regulation yet, just taxes. But I'm still making money because of that.
So you feel like because you have a product and a service that you offer that you're a better businessman than this other guy. Is that right?
Oh heavens, yes. If you only do business with good people, you're only going to have good business.
Okay. And what was it that you said about burning books? You said you would burn our books if we supported George Soros?
If you write books and you support George Soros, yeah, I would burn your books. I would use it for kindling.
Now, what does it mean to support George Soros? Could I agree with George Soros on some things and disagree with him on others? Would that count as supporting him?
Oh, it may be, but if you know the premise behind what he's actually saying, you'll see that it comes from communism 100% of the time.
Well, I'm not denying that.
You may agree on certain issues because of the way it feels, but understand the premise of where it comes from.
Well, like I said, I don't know a whole lot about George Soros. All I know is he's just a guy who's got a lot of money, funds a lot of lefty things. So, I mean, I'm sure he's
all I really know about him, and Republicans don't like him.
He funds a lot of nonprofit organizations here in the United States that are all designed to destroy individual liberty and destroy citizen-owned capitalism.
Well, I've also heard that he supports legalizing cannabis, which would actually improve individual liberty. So I'm going to agree with him on that particular issue, but there's probably some things that I don't agree with him on.
Big deal. Thomas Edison was a pothead, right? Come on, guys.
Big deal. How about the million human beings that are put in jail every single year because they had some sort of drug?
I know that, and that shouldn't be done. I agree with that.
Okay, good. So then there you go. There you agree with George Soros.
Don't make the production of marijuana something that creates a civil and prosperous society. It's a drug, you know. I mean, it doesn't really...
Tobacco's a drug as well.
Our way of living at all.
Tell that to somebody, excuse me, sir, tell that to somebody who is taking marijuana, taking cannabis for medical purposes, for whom it completely eliminates all symptoms of the particular medical malady that they have. Tell them that it's no big deal.
Helps with arthritis, helps with depression.
I don't think it's the case where using marijuana removes all symptoms. I mean,
yeah, you don't know what you're talking about.
No, I know there's like for cancer, they have the chemotherapy, and it eases the discomfort of chemotherapy. I know that, and certain things, but it doesn't get rid of all the symptoms. It's not a miracle
some things
drug.
It does, actually. It is actually, in a lot of ways, a miracle drug. I mean, with all due respect, you sound like you don't really know what you're talking about, and you might want to go ahead and do some research on cannabis. It helps a lot of people with a lot of different maladies, and I've seen video footage of a young lady smoking cannabis, and her symptoms, physical symptoms, which included like shaking and like really awful kind of physical maladies, go away completely within like a minute of her taking just a few tokes off of a pipe. Further, I've known people in real life who have testified to me that they have had tremendous positive results with whatever their issues through use of cannabis. So for a lot of people, this is a very important issue. So there you go. You found one issue on which you agree with George Soros, but I'm not defending his position. By no means am I defending his position on communism. I am not in support of forced wealth redistribution. So I will certainly.
George Soros is probably for marijuana distribution across the country because they feel that it makes people stupid and non-productive. So I'm sure he is all for the use of cannabis throughout our population.
It makes people stupid and non-productive. Do you actually believe that's true?
That's what he thinks.
Uh-huh. Well, thank you for the call tonight, Doug. I appreciate hearing from you. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. I don't think I would jump to any conclusions about what someone I don't know thinks.
And, Doug, if you're looking for books to burn as kindling, there's a bunch of them on my website, fpp.cc. Feel free to buy as many as you want. Buy like a year's supply and burn them all you want. That's fine because I'm still getting paid when you buy my book.
Our toll-free number tonight, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Is George Soros all bad? I don't think so. Is he mostly bad? Maybe. I don't know enough about the guy. I know he supports a lot of lefty stuff, so I'm sure I would disagree with him on a number of those things. It's Free Talk Live.
The final phase of extermination is set to commence now. And as population die-off becomes evident, you know it is the time of punishment in all that is written. The cover for mass die-off is evolution and global warming frauds, also used as false proof of their Christ. They are from the lines that were disinherited 2,000 years ago. Now they claim to be his Christ based upon blood type, DNA, and long lifespan. Go to unveilingthem.com. That's UNVEILING them.com.
Hey guys, Pat Matthews here to tell you all about the newest and best way to sell your products online. It's buysellmakeoffer.com, a brand new site to sell your stuff online. Your old golf clubs, sports equipment, tools, and yes, even your car. Forget about the other guys. Buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge you item fees. Go to the website now and sign up so that you can soon load all your stuff up to sell. This is not an auction site. Just use our resources along with Skype and videos to sell your items quickly and with no fees. Go right now to user-friendly buysellmakeoffer.com, where the first 30 days are on us.
I'm Ian Freeman, host of Free Talk Live. We've been covering Uber for years on the radio with their ongoing legal cases across the globe defending your right to give people rides without asking government permission. I wanted to support Uber more directly, so I signed up to be a driver. It's fun to meet new people and help Uber push forward innovation. As of this recording, Uber is active in 67 countries, so there's a good chance they're available in your area. If you'd like to drive for Uber and make some money helping people get where they want to go, sign up at drive.freetalklive.com, and you'll get a $100 bonus after you complete a certain number of trips. With Uber, you can drive anytime you want. You set your schedule. To get started, you need a good driving record, 4-door vehicle, insurance, registration, and to pass a background check. It costs nothing to sign up, so visit drive.freetalklive.com. That's drive.freetalklive.com. And if you just want to try Uber as a rider, visit ride.freetalklive.com. Your first ride's free.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com. The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Yesterday, 2 groups of men shot at each other near Tobagram Base, where I am. Today, the soldiers are happy about some of the men dying and sad about other men dying. Sergeant First Class Aaron Tomlin is only sad about 4 of the dead people.
It's a long, tough day here. We lost 4 good men.
No, 27 men died. 4 American soldiers and 23 Taliban soldiers. You said that 4 soldiers died and it makes you sad. But you said when Taliban soldiers die, it does not make you sad. I asked Base Commander David Hawkins to make it make sense.
The last thing we resort to is hurting anyone. But you have to understand, it's our job to keep the American people safe from our enemies. And sometimes that includes...
So if you kill your enemies at your job, it is not sad.
Well...
What if I killed my enemy Ryan at my job? It would not be sad?
No, you shouldn't do that.
But he is rude to me. He steals my yogurts. He makes fun of the way I talk.
Look, only soldiers can kill without getting in trouble.
Okay. Are you going to kill Ryan?
No.
It does not make sense.
This is the Onion News Network.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us here for a book burning. No, actually, we wouldn't burn books because we're not like that. But the Russian government certainly is, and they have targeted 50 books for burning. They've pulled 500 from the shelves at a couple of different university libraries. You're welcome to share your thoughts on the concept, and maybe you support book burning and you'd like to tell us which books you want to see burned. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We also have Skype at Skype username LRN.FM. You can also throw some business cards in there. You can get 500 business cards for just $9.99. They'll keep you warm for a little bit. 500 business cards for just $9.99 when you go to Vistaprint.com and use code FTL. You need to get business cards, maybe postcards, flyers, banners, apparel, invitations. Vistaprint does it all. Whatever it is you need for your home office, they've got it. Small business, you're perfect for Vistaprint. Their products are super easy to order. They've got an easy designer there for the business cards. I used it to make some Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree palm cards that I can use to advertise the movie that I produced. And Vistaprint made it super easy. Plus, you can easily select whatever text, colors, backside, customizations that you want. You can even upgrade the quality of the card. Get a thicker stock, add a brilliant finish like metallic, spot gloss, raised print. Super easy to use at Vistaprint.com. And they guarantee you'll love your products every time, or they'll make it right. It's a great customer service experience if you need it, but you probably won't because it'll just work really well. Over at Vistaprint.com, code FTL gets you 500 business cards starting at just $9.99. It's up to a 50% savings over their regular site pricing. So Vistaprint.com with code FTL, like Free Talk Live. So if you want to share your thoughts on burning books, you can certainly do that. Another issue that I think upsets a lot of people is the idea of people who were not actually in the military, or maybe who were in the military but didn't earn certain medals, wearing medals that they did not earn. And there are a number of people who get very, very upset about this particular activity. And in fact, some have been criminally prosecuted for it in the past. And now you've got an 8-3 ruling from the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, according to Stars and Stripes at stripes.com. They said that the now repealed law against wearing unearned military decorations was a ban on a type of symbolic speech. And although the government can forbid falsehoods that cause tangible harm, like fraud or perjury, the Constitution restricts government regulation of expression based solely on its content, said the court.
Right, and before we get into this too much further, I just want to make a parallel here. On Halloween, it's completely acceptable for people to dress up as things that they are not.
Including military soldiers.
Including military, firemen, nurses, whether or not, you're one of those naughty nurses or a regular nurse. It's perfectly acceptable on one night of the year to dress up as something that you are not. And some of these regulations and laws that wind up getting passed don't make exceptions for basically what amounts to art or theater.
Okay.
So, there could wind up being a regulation, and I think there's one in New Hampshire that there's a proposal to make it illegal to dress up like a member of emergency services, which my reading of this would basically mean that police on Halloween,
all the little kids,
could go around, everybody dressed up as a firefighter that's a little kid, and every female college student that dresses up like a naughty nurse needs to wind up being handcuffed and thrown in jail because they're violating this provision of dressing up like an emergency services person. Because there's no prohibition or no exception in the law for things that are obviously not acts of fraud.
Now, when it comes to fraud, with somebody dressing up like they were in the military, wearing medals they didn't earn, I think that if it's just some guy walking down the street who's dressed as a Vietnam vet, but he wasn't ever in Vietnam, that's not going to be considered. That's not fraud. That's the free speech that they're talking about. If, however, you then use those medals to get into some sort of private club where the membership is only open to people who've actually been in these conflicts or whatever, then you would be using those medals to defraud that particular group.
Yes.
And I think in that case, at the very least, it would be a civil case that you would lose.
Yes.
But I don't think that someone should go to a prison cell because they put on some medals and paraded around the streets or even went to a party. Some people, will do this so they can get extra attention from people in public or at some sort of social gathering.
Right, and how far back are we going to go with this? So you gave the example of somebody dressing up like they were in Vietnam, and I'm sure that some people would take exception to that. But if somebody's walking around in, say, Civil War regalia, no one in their right mind is going to think, oh, this guy was actually in the Civil War. Right. Or he's trying to portray as though he was. So, there has to be some kind of thing to where, common sense comes into play to where, people use their brains to determine whether or not the person's doing this for fraudulent purposes or just because, I like playing dress up.
We'll tell you more about what the court decided here in moments. You can share your thoughts. Toll-free number, 855-450-FREE. It is the live Saturday edition of Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733. Let's go to Mark, listening in Indiana to WIBC-FM. Hello, Mark.
Hi, regarding getting rid of books. I got a whole bunch of books here.
Yes, sir.
Bookmarks. I don't like bookmarks. They're just ugly. You can get hurt, too. If a book is, you've got a stack of books on the side and you got a bookmark sticking out and you happen to walk past, it could actually bookmark cut you like a paper cut.
A bookmark cut. I got to say, I've never had one before. Darryl, you do a lot of book work. You ever had a bookmark cut?
I haven't. I have got basically a paper cut from the corrugated cardboard that the books come in. Sometimes you open that up and you slide your finger the wrong way and you wind up, slicing your skin open on the cardboard. So I've had that happen, but never on a bookmark.
Yeah, well, I'm just thinking ahead, just in case.
You got to watch out for those things.
Absolutely. Any books that have anything to do with executive orders, I think all of those should be burned. Any books that have anything to do with they have pictures of like Hillary or Bill in them, those all need to be burned. And the one last one is all books that have anything to do with Sharia law, because it sounds very troubling to me.
Okay, so I'm curious about your thing. Any book that has anything to do with executive orders. Most college and high school textbooks that talk about American history will reference executive orders. Would you burn college history textbooks?
Oh, yeah, those with Common Core, too. Thanks for bringing up schools. Get rid of the Common Core books. Get rid of those, too. Yeah, get rid of them all. If you can get rid of one, get rid of them all.
Now, when so let's clarify, though. Are you saying that when you want these things burned, these books that you're listing, that you want this to be some sort of government project to clear out government libraries, or that this would be a private book burning? What do you envision?
What I would do is I would actually save the trees on the earth and send all those books to people that have fireplaces in their homes, and then just be smart. It'll clear up space in the libraries and that, so then we can actually open up more warehouses. And I imagine George Soros would probably be into that and probably would invest in that so that he can go ahead and have more control over everything. He'd have more warehouses or to run whatever it is that he runs. So I guess someone said that he's a
it sounds like a convoluted plan. And just want to let the board op know we are still hearing ourselves back in the Comrex Access. Hey, thanks, Mark, for your call tonight. I appreciate it. I don't think he was too serious about what he was saying there, although it did sound a little scary with the whole burn the...
anything that references Sharia.
Yeah, that sounded a little scary. I don't think book burnings are serious. I only asked the question to see if somebody was really serious about wanting to burn books. I suspect those people are actually out there. You can join us if you want to. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733, because, burning books, obviously a very un-American idea, very anti-free speech. We have to protect the free speech because it's the unpopular speech that needs protection. It's Free Talk Live.
All right, listen up, because this is the most important thing you're going to hear all day. What if I said you could make money flipping houses without any cash, credit, or manual labor? And what if I said you could do it part-time from the comfort of your home? Sound unflippin' believable? Hi, I'm Preston Ely, and I'm going to prove it by sending you a free copy of my smash hit selling book, How to Get Rich in Real Estate. It sells online for $19.95, but I'm giving away 5,000 free copies this week. To get one before they're gone, call 1-800-961-8439. I used to be so broke. I had my electricity shut off 9 times, but I figured out a simple way to make money flipping houses without even breaking a sweat. Now I'm living the good life, and so should you. Listen, if you're sick and tired of stressing about money, this book could change your life. Hands down, it's the fastest, easiest way to get started in real estate. Let me prove it. Call right now to find out how to get your free book. When they're gone, they're gone. Call 1-800-961-8439. 1-800-961-8439.
2 little tablets is all it takes to make your thin hair feel and look thicker and fuller, guaranteed. Viviscal is the #1 drug-free hair growth supplement in the U.S., with 1 box being sold every minute globally. It's clinically researched to promote existing hair growth for men and women, and now a 90-day supply of Viviscal is offered in your area risk-free plus free shipping. Call 800-330-4028. Viviscal nourishes thinning hair from within. You'll love your hair growth results, guaranteed. Viviscal is so effective, it's recommended by top doctors. Here's Dr. Grant Stevens, board-certified plastic surgeon.
I feel confident recommending Viviscal to women with hair loss, thinning hair, or even dry or brittle hair. It's 100% drug-free, and it's backed by years of clinical research.
Want to try Viviscal? Every listener that calls now gets a 90-day risk-free supply plus free shipping. Call now, 800-330-4028. 800-330-4028. That's 800-330-4028.
What if the key to achieving liberty in your lifetime was to move together with others who think like you? Liberty activists are joining the Free State Project, which is over 90% of the way to its goal of 20,000 participants. And they're already making the move to New Hampshire. The successes are piling up and are proving the Free State Project is a real movement and no longer just a great idea. When you're planning your move, consider Keene. Keene is famous for its civil disobedience and non-cooperation, and there's plenty of political opportunity as well. If you're a regular reader of freekeene.com, you know there's a lot going on in Keene. Keene is the liberty media capital of the world, with television, talk radio, and more, all originating here. Though it's more than just activism, with regular social events each week. See what's happening at freekeene.com and get connected with video, audio, free books, a forum, and activist tools you can download and use in your area at freekeene.com. That's freekeene.com. You can listen to Free Talk Live on the radio, podcast, satellite, webcam, and our live streams. But did you know you can listen to Free Talk Live from any phone, anywhere? Add this number to your phone, 213-493-0308. It's a long-distance call, so make sure you're familiar with your phone's calling plan. The Listen lines are airing the latest episode of Free Talk Live 24 hours a day, including our live shows. Call 213-493-0308. That's 213-493-0308. When I found the Free State Project, I knew it was the key to achieving liberty in my lifetime. It's awesome to be surrounded by like-minded, freedom-loving activists who've moved here to New Hampshire. From politics to civil disobedience, we have it all. Where I came from, it felt that no matter what I did, liberty was dying. Perhaps you feel the same way? Call 888-377-2515 now to learn more about the Free State Project. That's 888-377-2515 or visit freestateproject.org.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live, and you're invited to join us here on the radio waves. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Don't forget to join us online anytime you want over at freetalklive.com. With you in studio, it's Ian
and Darryl.
Don't forget, if you want to help support Free Talk Live, shop with us. Head over to shop.freetalklive.com. Enter the links you'll find there. There's Amazon links there for Amazon UK, Amazon Canada, and Amazon US. You just click into the right one for you. Free Talk Live will get a portion of your purchase price. You get the stuff you're looking for at those great Amazon prices. It's the same great Amazon experience that you're used to. You're just going through our affiliate links at shop.freetalklive.com. It was an 8-3 ruling. The Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals said the now repealed law against wearing unearned military decorations is a ban on symbolic speech. Quote, suppressing a symbolic communication threatens the same First Amendment harm as suppressing a written communication. This written by Judge Sandra Ikuta in the majority opinion, saying further, quote, wearing a medal has no purpose other than to communicate a message, unquote. She cited a U.S. Supreme Court ruling from 2012 striking down a related law that prohibited lying about receiving a military honor. That 5-4 decision said the law punished speech without requiring proof of intent to defraud, and that the government had other ways of protecting the public from deception. For example, an easily accessible database of legitimate medal recipients. You could check someone's claims. A year after that ruling, Congress enacted a revised law that makes it a crime to lie about military honors, but only if the liar intended to profit or to defraud someone.
Right. So if you wound up writing a book
about all of your military exploits that weren't real,
or even if you wrote a book on, anything, but as part of your bio on the book, you said, I won a Purple Heart, and you never won a Purple Heart, obviously you put that in your bio to try to sell books.
Yeah.
So, that would be an example of, lying about it for attempted profit.
The new law does not punish someone solely for wearing the unearned medal. Dissenters from Monday's ruling said falsely wearing medals is conduct, not speech, and is potentially more harmful than lying about them. Quote, the wearing of an unearned medal dilutes the message conveyed by the medal itself, said Judge J. Bybee, saying that, quote, the lie here is told in a more effective way. The ruling came in the case of Elvin Swisher, an Idaho man who served in the Marines from 1954 to 1957. In 2001, he filed a claim for post-traumatic stress disorder benefits, saying he'd been wounded and traumatized in a secret combat mission in North Korea in 1955, 2 years after the war ended. He said an unnamed captain had awarded him a Purple Heart and told him he was entitled to other service medals. After initially rejecting his claim, the government reversed itself and granted Swisher benefits in 2004 for PTSD from the secret mission. The government canceled the benefits in 2006 after concluding that Swisher's claims about the mission, the harm that he suffered, and the medals he earned were all fraudulent. In the meantime, Swisher wore his unearned Purple Heart when he testified as a prosecution witness against David Hinkson, convicted in 2005 of plotting to murder 3 people, including a federal judge. Despite learning of Swisher's apparent deception, the appeals court later upheld Hinkson's convictions. Swisher, who has never recanted his claims, was convicted of the false medal charge and 3 other crimes and has served a 1-year sentence. His lawyer said Monday's ruling was a worthwhile expansion of First Amendment protections. So you are welcome to comment if you have some strong feelings about this. I know that this issue gets people riled up. There's one guy in particular here in the Keene area who we've actually had on this show. I won't name names, but he's been excoriated by people locally for allegedly wearing unearned medals, things that he did not earn. And there's still some question as to whether he was the person who wore them or who was actually wearing what, or if it was even him. And I'm not really sure on all those details. But, man, people use that detail to just rake someone up the coals. I mean, just all over the place. They take somebody down because of that.
Yeah, and it's one of those things of there's so many unanswered questions about it. Was it him? Was it not him? Was it a medal that he had manipulated, like a medal that he had actually been awarded that he manipulated to look like something else?
I just don't care, personally. I mean, I just find myself so unconcerned with somebody who would wear military medals in public or to a party or whatever. I mean, look, if that's what somebody feels they need to do to be interesting to folks, I guess that's their choice. I mean, I think it is a little deceptive, obviously, and I don't support, being dishonest about oneself, but yeah, there's a fine line between dishonesty and theater, right? Between that and political theater.
And it's also, and I realize that I'm probably about to upset a lot of people here, but it's basically bragging about something that I honestly find to be immoral.
Being in the military.
Being in the military. Well, they generally only give you these medals when you wind up killing a lot of people.
Yeah.
Although there are a couple of the medals that you get because you got injured.
Right.
But, like the Act of Valor, you don't get that just because you served. You get that because you were good at killing people.
So you definitely would never engage in something like this because you would not represent yourself falsely as something that you consider to be evil.
Right.
Yeah. If you want to share your thoughts, 855-450-FREE. Let's go to Ralph. He's in New York. And, Ralph, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian and Darryl.
No, he's in New Jersey. Hello,
New Jersey.
Guilty.
Huh?
Yes, hello, white guilty. How are you both
What are you talking about? I don't feel guilty.
Well, we're about to spice up the subject matter that is lame.
Yeah, spice it up, Ralph. Bring it on.
But okay. All right, thank you.
I'm ready.
On the issue of, the medal that is unearned,
yeah.
You could definitely say that this black animal, El Negro, who got the Nobel Peace Prize, he did not earn that. He did not deserve it. Therefore, he should return it back. Mr. Peacenik, Mr. Anti-War. Well,
I agree with you on that point without all the name calling. I certainly don't support the first part of what you said, but I agree with the idea that Barack Obama did not deserve the Nobel Peace Prize. That how someone could be given a Nobel Peace Prize and have taken a country to war, I don't get that.
Let's talk about, anger in America, which is the subject matter of the magazine Esquire.
Are you an angry man?
Can you put a smiley face on what Obama has done to this country? To pillage, plunder, ruin, rape. You want me to go up? You want me to go up? Turn it upside down? and giving him enough room to strangulate us. Okay? With
to
the
what?
remaining time that he...
Give you enough rope to strangulate... What?
Strangle something.
Strangulate this country.
Strangulate the country.
Now, let's a question I put out on the issue of, anger in America, specifically the issue of race. This is very interesting. Okay? Since Barack Obama was elected, do you think race relations in the United States has improved? 12% of that.
I don't know how you figure that stuff out. I don't.
It has. Well, let me finish, guys. It has worsened. 48% of the respondents said it does. Okay.
So there was some poll where people said that they thought race relations were worse. So that means race relations are worse. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm about to discuss that further because according to most of the white respondents, okay.
You're losing me, Ralph. You're losing me. Could you understand what he said there?
Something about in Florida and Hispanics, and I wasn't really sure if those were even the things he said.
It has nothing to do with Florida and Hispanic. I'm talking about the respondents to this survey. Most of
the
them
respondents to the survey.
Okay.
I wish you would get Skype, Ralph, because it's so hard to understand you sometimes. I don't know if I trust just because people say they think race relations are worse means race relations are worse. I mean,
let me dig into this matter further, if I may, because the magazine itself has,
Esquire magazine.
Outlined, the Esquire magazine.
Uh-huh.
Okay. The weird part: whites are much more likely than blacks to say that race relations have become worse since Barack Obama was elected. One possible explanation: whites are down on race relations because of the way they believe they are treated. Not
the way they what?
Of the way black...
The way they believe they're treated.
The way white people believe they're treated has to do with why they think race relations are worse?
Yeah, let me finish. Not because of the way blacks are treated. Now, all I can say to these things here, guys, is this. Obama is getting what he is giving. This man.
Well,
in
that
my
I think is
opinion,
true of just about everybody. Thanks for the call, Ralph. Toll-free number 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-FREE. And you can join us here. Hour number 2 on the way. It's Free Talk Live.
Currency is too important a thing to be left in the hands of government bureaucrats, especially when billions of dollars can be created with the swipe of a pen. Overstock.com supports the cryptocurrency movement because it returns the power of an inflation-proof money to the people where it belongs. Did you know that you can use Bitcoin to pay for anything Overstock.com sells while enjoying free shipping on orders of 0.211 Bitcoin or more? If you support freedom in the cryptocurrency movement, you should support Overstock.com. Are your kids spending too much time online? Are they gaming instead of doing homework? Are they on Facebook instead of sleeping? Turn their internet access on or off when you want for free at webcurfew.com. 100% web-based interface means nothing to download, install, or configure. Web Curfew is free and controls any device using your home network without slowing down your internet. Block all adult web content with the click of a button. Don't let the internet raise your kids. Take back control of how and when your home internet is used for free. Visit webcurfew.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Pure Life Water, helping you drink better and live better by providing a zero-calorie alternative to sugary drinks. Visit us at nestle-purelife.us. When kids are playing, they often don't want to stop to keep hydrated, so send them out with a bottle of water and encourage them to take frequent drink breaks, or call them inside for a quick sip. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Did you know that you can listen to and watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cam at cam.freetalklive.com? Not only that, but you can also chat with other listeners at the same time. Do I need to mention that both the studio cam and chat room are totally free? Outside of Free Talk Live's live hours, you won't see a cam feed, but will hear audio from the Liberty Radio Network. So listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Saturday, January 16th, 2016. Silver is trading at $13.93 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,089 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $374. Antiwar.com reports at least 20 people were reported killed on Friday evening and 15 others wounded when attackers launched a pair of bombs against the Splendid Hotel in Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso, forcing their way into the hotel and engaging in a protracted gunfire with security forces. Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb, an Al-Qaeda affiliate based in northwestern Africa, has claimed credit for the attack, which appears to have been related to the use of the hotel by French troops involved in anti-Islamic operations in the region. Witnesses said the attackers wore turbans and were light-skinned, and they appeared to be speaking a language not native to the country, a former French colony. Most of the power base for al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb is centered around Algeria and Mauritania. So far, the casualties have not been identified by nationality, but the speculation, as with such attacks, is that they aim to kill foreign diplomats and tourists. The Burkinan government downplayed the situation, saying the security forces would quickly regain control of the situation.
For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
UPI reports Boston Marathon bomber Dzhokhar Tsarnaev has lost his bid for a new trial and was ordered by a judge to pay more than $100 million in restitution to victims and the relatives of victims involved in the 2013 attack. Federal Judge George A. O'Toole Jr., who heard defense arguments early last year, issued the ruling, according to court documents released on Friday. Attorneys for Tsarnaev had asked for a new trial before the Kyrgyzstan-born bomber was convicted on 30 criminal counts stemming stemming from the dual bombings at the Boston Marathon nearly 3 years ago. Tsarnaev was convicted last April on 17 counts related to the domestic terror attack, which killed 3 and wounded more than 250. A local police officer was killed by Tsarnaev and his older brother Tamerlan days after the bombing. He is imprisoned at a maximum security facility in Colorado, awaiting death by lethal injection. The judge's order instructs Tsarnaev to pay a total of $101,124,027 to 49 individuals to be placed in the Massachusetts Victims Compensation Fund.
You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerous supporters. You can join the Fans program for as little as $3 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com.
Reuters reports the U.S. Supreme Court on Friday took no immediate action on whether it will hear President Barack Obama's bid to revive his plan to shield more than 4 million immigrants from deportation, a move that bypassed the Republican-led Congress. The case was not on the list of new cases the court agreed on Friday to take up. The court could make an announcement next week on whether it will hear the immigration dispute. If the justices hear the case, it would become one of the centerpiece cases of its current term, which runs until June. Obama's 2014 executive action, taken after Congress failed to pass bipartisan immigration legislation, was blocked by lower courts after Texas and 25 other Republican-governed states sued to stop it, contending Obama had exceeded his presidential powers under the U.S. Constitution. The Supreme Court judges must decide whether to take up the administration's appeal of a November ruling by the New Orleans-based Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals that upheld a February 2015 decision to halt Obama's actions. Obama's executive order lifting the threat of deportation against more than 4 million undocumented immigrants was directed at people with no criminal record whose children are U.S. citizens. Those eligible would be able to work legally and receive some federal benefits. Should the Supreme Court opt to not hear the case, Obama's program would be effectively dead at the end of his term in January 2017. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish a TV show where I travel across this great nation eating pork in every one of our 50 states. Join me on my cross-country odyssey as I make our forefathers proud, reveling in life, liberty, and the pursuit of pork.
You really taste the cooked pork.
This stuff is fantastic.
I'm a big salt fan.
Let's pork! We're tasting prime pork dishes in every state in the Union, and I couldn't be more excited for this once-in-a-lifetime tour. You're going to be right here with me, seeing everything I do and watching every pork I taste. I'm Jim Haggerty. You know me as the host of Today Now, but I've also eaten in a ton of restaurants. Now I'm heading out on the road. My mission? Find the best pork our country has to offer.
Watch Jim Haggerty's Porkin' Across America at youtube.com/theonion.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, and we're launching into the second hour of the program. You can join us here. The toll-free number, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733 if you're just tuning in. We talked about everything from book burning by Russian authorities. They're confiscating hundreds of books, many of them textbooks from universities, and they burned at least 50 of them so far, according to the Associated Press, a story published over at Sky News in Australia. And also the Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals deciding that in an 8-3 ruling that it is symbolic speech to wear unearned military decorations. And you're welcome to share your thoughts with us here at 855-450-FREE. With you in studio, I'm Ian.
And Darryl.
We're going to your phone calls and thoughts. First up, Daniel is in South Carolina listening in Myrtle Beach to WRNN-FM. Hello, Daniel.
How you doing this evening?
Welcome, sir.
The only thing I got to say about the medals, you see people walking around wearing military garb all the time, stripes upside down, fake medals, and everything. It doesn't really bother me. I earned mine the right way. And the easiest way I see to take care of that is just to walk up to them, talk to them, ask them questions, expose them as being the liar and the fraud that they are, and humiliate them, and then go on about your business.
There you go. You're answering their free speech with other free speech. So you're using free speech to combat free speech, which I think is the best way to handle things. A lot of people see something they don't like, and they immediately jump to, well, we need to ban that. We need to prohibit that. It needs to be illegal, and that is a very dangerous road. It's a very slippery slope, because then the question has to be asked, well, who decides what should be allowed and what shouldn't, and then what's to prevent what you think is important to be prohibited later on down the line. Once you prohibit one thing because it's uncomfortable or somebody doesn't like it, it's only a matter of time before something that you like ends up being prohibited. Right. I think that's a reasonable response, Daniel.
Yeah, the easiest way to get them to stop it is to humiliate them.
Thanks for the call. Go ahead.
No problem.
Thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate it. Let's talk to Jay. He's in Michigan. Jay, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Hi, I just wanted to talk to you about that comment you made before that other crazy guy got on the phone. It has to do with, you think it's immoral for a soldier to kill in the Army?
I think killing people is immoral unless
Right.
it's for immediate self-defense purposes.
Okay, but for the Army, it's not okay?
No, over 90% of the people that are being killed in the current military conflicts are civilians, and then most of the other people that are being killed are of no direct threat to anyone. So, yes, killing people that are not a threat is immoral.
But so you're saying that if you're a soldier and you're killing people because you're in the Army and you're in a war, that's not necessarily immoral if you're killing combatants.
If you are killing someone to preserve your self-life, then that's justifiable homicide, arguably.
Okay. But wait a minute, Darryl.
What is being done by the U.S. military, 90% of the people being killed are civilians, and then a large percentage of the people that are not labeled as civilians are not a direct threat to anyone.
But, in addition to what you're saying there, Darryl, the people who are in the military are choosing to go and put themselves in a place where their life could be threatened.
Yes.
So by virtue of their choice there, they are committing an immoral act, right? Like they are not trying to avoid conflict. They are wanting the conflict.
They're seeking out conflict.
Right, wherein they know eventually they're going to be in the position to kill another human being.
Okay, gotcha.
Just because a politician says to do it doesn't make it moral. Wouldn't you agree with that, Jay?
Okay, gotcha. No, I don't really agree with it, and this is why. So during World War II, when people volunteered to go over and fight the Nazis and to free Europe, based on that was immoral because they chose to go over there, and there were people that volunteered to go. Just like there were people in Vietnam that volunteered.
Well, obviously, it's more offensive to.
But that's immoral.
It's obviously more offensive to draft people to fight your wars for you, no doubt about that.
Yeah, I understand that.
And if you decide that you want to go and rescue people on your own from some sort of captivity, I don't necessarily have a problem with that. So I guess I see where you're coming from there, Jay. If it was some sort of mission that you were on personally to try to rescue people from, tyrannical people around the world. But the problem really comes in with the military for me is how it's funded. So if you want to get your buddies together, gather some weapons up and go, enter some conflict and choose a side, you should be free to make those choices, I think. But I should not have to be forced to pay for your expedition. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, but that... I don't think anyone would ever try to do that.
You don't think anyone would ever try to do what?
The French Foreign Legion was people that got together and went to go fight voluntarily without being funded through taxation. They saved up their own money and went to France and joined what was called the French Foreign Legion.
Well, what I'm trying to say is I don't think I would ever go grab my buddies and just go into some country. I understand.
But you would do it if a politician told you to do it?
No, the politician didn't tell me to go.
Were you in the military?
I volunteered. Yeah, I volunteered.
Okay, then a politician told you to go somewhere.
You volunteered to have politicians tell you where to go, right? Because you didn't volunteer and then get to decide where to go. They sent you somewhere, didn't they?
No. The war was already going on. I knew where I was going when I volunteered. I already knew it. It's not like they said, yeah, okay, I didn't know where specifically, but I knew what country I was going to.
And if the politicians told you to go somewhere else and fight somewhere else, you would have done that too, wouldn't you?
It all depends. It really depends on what the situation was.
Okay, I would love to hear you say that you would disobey an order from the politicians if you thought they were immoral orders.
But I volunteered to go to Iraq. Had it been, some other situation, I might have not volunteered to go.
But what if you had already volunteered into the military and then they wanted to send you somewhere else? Would you have decided to not follow those orders?
Then I already volunteered. I signed.
So you volunteered to give up your decision-making ability. You volunteered to hand your will over to politicians, right?
No.
Isn't that what you just said?
That's.
You said you'd already volunteered, so if you got sent somewhere else, you'd go there.
Well, if I'm already in the Army, I have to. But
you
I
have
wouldn't
to
have volunteered unless it was under the right situation.
But then you admitted that if the situation changed, since you'd already joined the military, you'd go along and to get along, you'd do what you were told.
But see, the way you're going about it, though, you can't run an army like that.
That's why the Russians shot.
I don't like the war that's going on, so I'm just going to quit.
Well, that's why some armies shoot people if they turn away from the front lines and try to run away. Shoot their own men if they do that. So basically, you're just telling us what most military people do is they sign up for some sort of reason that they believe in, like saving the country or going and invading some terrible dictator's land or whatever. But then admitting that ultimately you become a tool of politicians and you'll do whatever it is that they tell you to do because, well, that's just the way it is. And you shouldn't be able to make individual decisions for yourself and actually assess the things you're told to do.
You know that going into it. You know
that you have given up your individuality, that you are a tool of the state, and you will do as you're told. And that's something you're proud of?
Yes.
That's a shame.
When I volunteer for the Army, I am proud of it.
Yeah, so you're proud of being a mindless automaton who doesn't actually think for himself and does whatever it is you're told.
You're twisting.
Isn't that kind of sad?
You're twisting it.
How is that twisting it? Isn't that exactly what you just described?
You're twisting it. You're basically, just crapping on all these people who signed up when we needed people.
I don't need anyone. I don't want to go and fight wars around the world. If there's somebody attacking my family or my friends, then I think it's one thing to defend somebody there with violence, but to go around the world and do the bidding of politicians is not something to be proud of. Politicians are liars and scum, and you should be embarrassed. Thanks for the call. Toll-free number, 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Why is it that all of a sudden politicians become so wonderful when it's time to go to war? We know they're trash.
Think you're fat? You might just be bloated. Find out by calling now for a free trial of New Biotics, the new breakthrough that flattens bloated bellies fast. For a free trial, call 1-800-965-1170.
I used to be plagued by potbelly and constant bloating. After taking New Biotics, my belly flattened and continues to get flatter. My sense of bloating and discomfort is gone.
If you've got a big belly, you might not be fat. You might just be bloated. New Biotics is scientifically formulated with natural ingredients to flatten bloated bellies fast by cleansing pounds of rotting food and toxic sludge from your body. It even combats periodic heartburn and acid reflux. So just think how much better you'll look and feel. Think you might be bloated? Call now for a free trial of New Biotics and see how much flatter it makes your belly. You might be surprised. But hurry, call now for details while these free trials last. 1-800-965-1170. That's 1-800-965-1170. 1-800-965-1170.
My name is Don Wiskin. In 1994, I lost my 62-year-old father to complications of bypass surgery. In 1977, my 44-year-old brother was found dead in his apartment. He suffered a heart attack. In January of 98, my mother had a stroke and passed away in her bed. 21 days later, my 53-year-old brother passed away on his arrival to the hospital. He waited too long. In June that same year, I almost joined them at 42. What did I do? I took a 7-herb formula I now call Extendivite, made from garlic, cayenne, bilberry, ginkgo biloba, hawthorn, milk thistle, and valerian. Based on German studies of natural medicine, Extendivite is designed to clear blocked arteries, clean the toxins from your blood, and improve your immune system. To get your Extendivite, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit our website, heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadati.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
This is your Robertson Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. In early trading Friday, gold is $14 higher at $1,092 per ounce. Silver is 21 cents higher at $14.10 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at $387 US. Gold and silver are making big moves today, fueled by growing concern in both U.S. and overseas markets. Prepare yourselves. Give us a call today at 800-874-9760 or online at rrbi.co.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, the live Saturday edition of the program. Toll-free numbers here, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733 with you tonight. You've got Ian.
And Darryl.
And we've got Skype as well. The Skype username is LRN.FM. You know, there's a movement in healthcare today full of people who are ready to stand up and take charge of their healthcare. People like you who are tired of paying too much for healthcare and getting too little. Folks who are standing up for their values and letting their conscience make decisions based on timeless principles. It's a movement sweeping the nation, and you should be part of it. Liberty Health Share is leading that movement of people who are looking for an alternative to traditional health insurance. Liberty Health Share is a healthcare sharing organization of people who are sharing the cost of healthcare in an easy and efficient way. You can choose your own doctor, your own hospital, and live out your values in healthcare. Join the movement and change healthcare for good at joinlhs.com or 800-722-8041. That's Join LHS, like Liberty Health Share, joinlhs.com or toll free 800-722-8041. Let's go to the phones and to your thoughts. We'll go to Andy in Texas, listening on TuneIn. Hello, Andy. You're on Free Talk Live.
How you doing, fellas?
Hey there. What's on your mind?
Hey, well, you know, this last guy that called, you know, I joined the Army when I was 17, so I was right out of 11th grade. I joined the Army, and I did it because I was patriotic. I wanted to be, you know, I joined the Army Reserves. I spent 4 years there, and then I went 4 years active. I thought I was doing the right thing. So if I'm actually doing the right thing and then I find out that I'm not doing the right thing, what is my reaction going to be to that?
Shock.
I swore an oath to a Constitution, and I know you guys look at the Constitution and you're like, well, that's it's a piece of paper or whatnot. But I did swear an oath to that, and I stood up to that, and all I've ever found out from the entire thing that I went through, the only thing I found out is that these are banker wars. Everything that I've ever been through was a banker thing. It all comes down to money and resources and whatnot. And so I've never found any value in what we're doing. And so I side with you guys. And I also want to tell you.
Well, isn't that what before you go on, isn't that what Smedley Butler said? You're like the most decorated Marine of all time or whatever. He wrote
he did.
Wrote a pamphlet about that called War is a Racket, I believe, where he basically said that he was just a killer for the mega corporations and the banks.
He said, never again will I fight a war for this country.
So go ahead. You were going to add something else in there.
Wars.
Go ahead.
No, but all I want to say is that I feel betrayed. I was sold a dream that wasn't a dream. It wasn't a reality that was ever going to become, the dream that was ever going to become reality. There's nothing. We're doing all this stuff for nothing.
Oh.
For nothing, except for the benefit of the bankers. And
I hear
the
you.
corporations.
Andy, thanks for the call tonight, man. I appreciate it. You might want to take a look at that phone. I don't know if it's your end or the network, but doesn't sound that good there. Toll-free number, 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. James is in Arizona. You're on Free Talk Live with Ian and Darryl.
You've never read War is a Racket, nor do you know much about the prohibitionist Smedley Butler, but your appeal to his authority is laughable, seeing as the only sentence you can mention from the book that you've never read, nor do you know anything about the wars that have happened afterwards, which were moral and killing.
Well, that last guy disagreed with you, and he was actually in the military. Were you ever in the military, James?
I happen to be genetically related to somebody that was in the military and won serious awards that
okay. So because you were genetically related means your opinion's more valuable than the guy actually in the military who actually knows what it was like. Huh?
You cited the previous caller, who I'm not talking about, and your appeal to his authority is meaningless as well. But may I continue on so-called Free Talk Live and have what I want to say without being interrupted?
I don't know. I'll decide that. But go ahead.
Because neither you or Darryl W.P. Perry are ministers, and I believe in a God that will brutally punish you for being... Neither
you are hilarious.
To call anybody a liar or scum makes me beg the question, do either you or that fat pig you're sitting next to have a mirror?
I think Darryl's actually looked in the mirror quite a few times, and he's lost 150 pounds in the last year. How much do you weigh, James?
I'm talking about your rotten, internally be rotten soul if you don't repent and atone and tell the truth for once in your misspent life.
What lie have we told tonight, James?
First of all, calling defaming the entire U.S. military because we went to Iraq because it's for bankers, that's a lie. We're not even in Iraq anymore, so we didn't go there for
I don't
oil
know who we is.
or bankers.
I'm not in Iraq, and I never was.
You know what I mean?
There are members of the U.S. military still in Iraq
and
to
Afghanistan.
this day.
Yeah, and Japan,
You know who I mean by we, Ian?
1,000 military bases all around the world. It's all bad in my book. It's all aggression, all around the globe. And you support it. You support a big military, right, James? You support military adventurism and military welfare.
You call it adventurism.
Mm-hmm.
You use laughable terms that mean it reduces the argument to the absurd when you call militarism adventurism. Now, we're not we didn't go to Iraq or Afghanistan for an adventure, nor do we go over there to steal their stuff.
What was it for?
Bankers.
What was it for? What was the point of that?
Well, Saddam Hussein, the world's formerly biggest mass murderer, most dangerous and richest and powerful.
You mean the one that Donald Rumsfeld was shaking hands with back in the 1980s as they helped him out?
You want to switch the subject?
You mean that same Saddam Hussein, though, right? The old buddy of the U.S. government?
May I respond
Did you
to
support him when they put him in power, too?
May I respond to that? May I respond to that?
The question is, did you support him when they put him in power?
there's another thing. Saddam Hussein didn't come to power on behalf and thanks to the U.S. government
in
1977. Oh, really? Yes, really. You damn fool. You don't know anything about history. You haven't even read anything.
So you're telling me Saddam Hussein did not have the support of the U.S. federal government in the beginning of his rule of Iraq. Is that what you're telling me?
Subsequent to the United States having hostages taken in Tehran in 1977, Ian Bernard, the United States, when Iraq invaded Iran in 1980, because everybody already in the United States of America pretty much hated the Iranian regime, which now still exists the same.
So is it the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of thing?
Can I
He was a
continue?
useful enemy at that point? Thanks for the call, James. Toll-free number? No, you can't. 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number, 855-450-3733. I don't claim to be, some sort of history buff or whatever. I'm not. But I do remember, pretty much seeing footage of Saddam Hussein being buddy-buddy with old Donald Rumsfeld, who ended up going after him years later, decades later. I think it was in the early 1980s when those pictures were taken.
Early to mid.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that was because the Reagan administration was buddy-buddy with Saddam Hussein and helped him solidify his power in Iraq. I mean, am I wrong about that? If I'm wrong, please, let me know. I don't believe James when he says I'm wrong, though. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can join us here. There's also interesting news in the Ross Ulbricht case. He's the man who is in prison for the rest of his life for running a website called The Silk Road, an underground marketplace where illegal drugs were sold, and he's filing an appeal. We've got details on that coming up. You can also share your thoughts here on Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online, and I found it. It's buysellmakeoffer.com, a brand new company that's the newest and best way to sell products online. You can even use Skype or video to sell your car, home, any product. You get 30 days free, packages starting from only $7.95, and buysellmakeoffer.com never charges item fees ever. Just go sign up, then load your stuff to sell. I love this site, buysellmakeoffer.com. Got it? Buy, sell, makeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
Excuse me, is this where I get a license to start a new business?
I wouldn't be hasty. You have to get a license to go out of business, too, you know.
Oh, well, look, I've invented this little anti-gravity machine, see?
Oh, is that why you're walking 2 inches above the floor?
Oh, yes, it's very comfortable. It saves on shoe leather.
Yeah, well, you have to fill out these forms and report to the Human Services Department of Manpower Orientation and register with the Fair Employment Practice Commission, the Wage and Hour Division of the Employment Standards Administration, the State Sales and Income Tax Division, the Internal Revenue Service, and the Social Security Administration of the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare, and, of course, OSHA.
OSHA? I thought that was a little town in Wisconsin.
You'll find out. Say, floating around like that could be dangerous. Have you checked with the Consumer Product Safety Commission?
Well, not yet.
Come to think of it, you actually are flying, aren't you? Look, you need to go over to the Federal Aviation Administration and the Transportation...
It's very hard to get anything done these days if you're in business, but free enterprise built this country. Think what could happen if we don't keep it free. A public service of this station and the Center for the Defense of Free Enterprise, Bellevue, Washington.
We just can't have people floating about unregulated, you know.
Are you a political activist who does things that the government might not like? Then this free ebook may save your life. Rats is your guide to protecting yourself against snitches, informers, informants, agents provocateur, narcs, finks, and similar vermin. Rats was written by OG libertarian Claire Wolfe. Rats is a short book, easy to read, and available free in many formats. Download Rats free at rats-nosnitch.com. That's rats-nosnitch.com.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, live Saturday edition of the program. Plenty of time for you to share your thoughts with us here. The toll-free number for you is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Tonight, you've got Ian.
And Darryl.
I've got an email about Bitcoin as well that I'd love to get to if we get the chance. There's some controversy in the Bitcoin universe right now with one of the main developers quitting his job with Bitcoin. We'll tell you more about that here. It's an unpaid role, by the way. The developers just do it because it's the love of Bitcoin and the love of the idea of cryptocurrency. We can get into that later. Toll-free number, 855-450-FREE. Join us online anytime you want over at freetalklive.com. You get to create the content there on the front page of the website. It's a Reddit-based system. It's free to use, and you can submit, let's say, a news article or a YouTube video or whatever it is that you think is interesting or fun or entertaining, whatever you think our listeners will appreciate and that we'll like, because we usually use freetalklive.com, our own site, as a source for some of the show topics that we might discuss on the air. So it's a great way to possibly get something on the air. Of course, the best way to get something on the air is to just call us up toll-free, 855-450-FREE. Let's go to the phones to the fun. First up, Eric is in Maryland. You're on Free Talk Live with Ian and Darryl.
Hey, how you doing?
Hello, Eric. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just wondering about why no one talks about the negativities of marijuana, the THCs that are involved in the substance.
The THC is actually one of the beneficial ingredients in cannabis, and you're a little distorted. Well, I don't know if you can back away from your phone receiver, like maybe move it away from your mouth like about an inch or two. You'll probably sound a little bit better that way. But, yeah, THC is one of the active ingredients. There are a couple others, or a few others, and THC is the one that most people are looking for in order to either get high or to use as a medical kind of a tincture or something that could possibly solve some of their medical problems. So actually THC is pretty valuable and very, very desirable.
Well, the more medical thing I've heard from it improving is epilepsy.
Yeah, it helps. I knew somebody who was using, I think it was THC oil to treat epileptic seizures. But there are many, many different issues that the use of THC, specifically medical cannabis and its variety of forms,
depression, chronic headaches.
I believe glaucoma is in there. I've seen people treating symptoms of multiple sclerosis with cannabis, and I'm sure that's just a short list. I imagine there's quite a bit more.
But doesn't it also kill brain cells?
No, there's no evidence for that. In fact, your brain actually has receptors for THC.
Now, I will say, Ian, that smoking anything can wind up, killing some brain cells, but that's just because of the depleted oxygen.
Yeah.
If you use cannabis in, say, a tincture form, you're not
orally in like a cookie or something.
Right. So when I use tinctures, I'll put it in my water, and then I ingest it. There's no smoking of that. no brain cells are dying that way, and there's no oxygen that's being depleted to the brain.
Yeah, there's a lot of propaganda out there, Eric, about cannabis. It's been in our society for generations, and that's why people have a lot of misunderstandings about it. They don't really understand what it is and what it's capable of. In fact, science is still just kind of on the cusp of really getting a grip on cannabis and all of the things that it can do. I mean, I really do think that in a lot of ways, in a lot of people's lives, it really is a miracle drug, and it has helped keep people alive for longer. It has helped, I think, in some cases, cure. There's some people who are saying that it can cure cancer. I don't know if that's true, but there's some, I think there's some early studies that are pointing to things that suggest that. And again, we're very much on the cusp of learning about this, because only now is it becoming possible to really do medical studies on cannabis in ways that were heretofore impossible when it was completely prohibited across the entire United States. Thanks for the call tonight, Eric. I appreciate hearing from you. And of course, there's plenty of different resources on the internet that you can look at to find news story after news story after scientific study about cannabis and how it does help people. So hopefully we'll see it be legal in a lot more places over time, not just for medical purposes, but also for recreational, because it certainly doesn't make people's lives better to go to a prison cell because they wanted to get stoned. Let's go, just in the same way it doesn't make people's lives better to send them to prison because they wanted to get some alcohol, which of course was happening just a number of decades ago. Let's go to Jimmy in Indianapolis, listening to WIBC FM. Hello, Jimmy.
Hey.
Hey, you're on the air.
Next year will be my 40th year in the military.
Sorry
and
to
if
hear
I
that.
could meet that dude that called in named James, I would smack his ass to the ground.
Why is that?
I did Korea, the DMZ, I did Afghanistan, I did Iraq. Our military is very important to our country. And
I think
to
James was
disrespect
supporting the military
the
when he was
veterans,
on the phone earlier.
That didn't sound like it to me.
Okay, maybe you're mixing him
Our
up with
military
somebody
needs
else.
to be supported and respected.
Well, why should I respect a group of people who is funded on the basis of coercion? I mean, it's not like they're voluntarily funding what they're doing. I don't respect people who steal from others. Do you?
No, I didn't steal from anybody.
No, but somebody else
Neither
stole
did
on your
anybody in
behalf.
my platoon.
Somebody else stole on your behalf to fund your platoon, to fund the whole expedition. I mean, like, I shouldn't have to.
Taxpayers' money you're talking about.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You know, if the
what
military wanted to
terrorists
actually
come in
protect me, if the military wanted to protect me, then they should go and they should arrest the politicians in Washington, D.C.
Some of them I do agree with you.
I think they should arrest all of them.
If we have a war over here with ISIS, who's going to protect us?
Well, I think that the thousands of people, the hundreds of thousands of people with guns would do a fine job of that. I'm not sure why I'm hearing myself back. Are you still there, Jimmy? Yeah, I think something went really screwy.
I think he dropped off as soon as he asked the question about the war with ISIS. And the whole thing of, do you want a war here or do you want a war over there, presumes that there has to be a war. And I don't believe that there has to be a war.
But, Darryl, don't they want to come here? And don't we have to go there before they come here to kill us?
That's the thing. You're presuming that there needs to be a war. You're presuming that, the only reason they want to, quote unquote, kill us is because we're free. That's the lie we're told, right? That they want to kill us because we're free. No, they're upset because we keep bombing them. There's this weird cycle of violence that people seem to forget is a cycle of they bombed us or they did this thing that we don't like. We're upset. We've got to go fight them. And then we bomb them and people forget, hey, wait a second.
Bombed anyone.
We didn't like it. No.
You mean the U.S. federal government?
The U.S. federal government and then people in the military that support the whole cycle of violence, they would say, we have to go fight because they did this to us.
And they forget what they did to them.
We have to do this to them, and they forget how they felt when something was done to them. That they forget that the only reason they're upset is, we have to go fight them because they knocked down a couple of our buildings or they did this or they did that. But Yeah, that was their response to all of our intervention to them.
Right. So there was decades of intervention, military interventionism, CIA meddling prior to the 9/11 attacks, and then everybody acted like the 9/11 attacks came out of nowhere. If anything, the 9/11 attacks were just a fraction of the violence and the meddling that had gone against the folks in the Middle East for those decades. But further, the idea that you're going to somehow get them back or make things right by committing more violence against more innocent people, because what was there, a few thousand folks, 3,000 or something that I think died or whatever in the 9/11 attacks?
Roughly 3,000 died on 9/11 in the two towers.
So somehow killing over 100,000 innocent people is going to, make that right in some way? By exterminating more innocent life? Because wasn't the Iraq body count at like over 100,000 by the time?
I've seen somewhere close to 1 million, depending on whose estimates you use.
I'm using the most conservative of
most conservatives, 100,000.
So if you think that's going to solve the problem, then you're ignorant as to how this all works. You kill another 100,000 people, well, guess what? You've just radicalized more terrorists. You've just created ISIS. This is Free Talk Live.
Are you suffering with hearing loss? Are you sick of people constantly complaining that your TV is too loud? Are you tired of asking people to speak up? Would you like to hear more clearly, but you don't want to wear a hearing aid that makes you look old? Then you need to try Listen Clear, a life-changing breakthrough precisely designed by top audio engineers to fit your ear almost invisibly. And you can adjust Listen Clear to find the perfect way to hear everything, wherever you are and whatever you're doing. And right now you can try Listen Clear absolutely risk-free with free shipping. We'll even give you free batteries for life. So call now, 1-800-719-9349. Listen Clear is lightweight and completely hassle-free, and it's practically invisible. Call for your 100% risk-free home trial with free shipping and free batteries for life. For free information, call now, 1-800-719-9349. That's 1-800-719-9349. 1-800-719-9349.
Hi, this is Dr. Joel Wallach, the Mineral Doctor. You've heard me talk about 90 for Life for years. 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 2 fatty acids. You may not know this, that I've actually designed Arthrodex for animals. That's right. Your pets need 90 for Life, too. Get this essential pet product by calling 877-279-9422. That's 877-279-9422. Again, 877-279-9422.
You haven't experienced yogurt until you've tried a Mossy, embodying health and flavor in a true whole milk, green-fed dairy beverage. Every sip pays homage to our old world cows and the ancient culturing methods their milk benefits from. With over 30 probiotics, a Mossy's undeniably nutritious, refined, cultured sensation bolsters your health and awakens your passion for dairy. A Mossy's so good, and you need to try it. Contact your Youngevity distributor or call 877-878-4203 or go to gcnteam.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project early movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
If you want to move to the free state and
and you're looking for some real estate.
Oof, I think we've all had enough of that jingle, don't you? If you're going to invest in property in New Hampshire, it just makes sense to support a Liberty-friendly realtor. Call Mark Warden of Team Porcupine Real Estate for investment property or rentals in the Free State, or visit his website. Come on, you know it.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, you may join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. With you tonight, Ian here.
And Darryl.
We're going to go right back to your phone calls and your thoughts. Also, still to come here, Ross Ulbricht filing an appeal, finally, on his case where he's now sentenced to life in prison for running a website, running one of the most infamous websites of all time, the Silk Road, where you could buy and sell all kinds of things that you can't normally go and get at Walmart or Amazon. And I mean by that drugs and fake IDs and things of that nature. We'll tell you more about that. You can also join us here toll-free, 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Plus, I've got an email with some good questions about Bitcoin. But first, let's go to William in Pennsylvania. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, William.
Hi, how are you doing?
Hey, what's on your mind?
I absolutely believe that we should have book burning.
You believe we should have book burning?
Absolutely.
Tell me why you're saying that.
Well, I'm an author, okay, and the more books you burn, the more you're actually paying. And in fact, I'd appreciate if you buy all of my books that are available on Amazon and just burn them all. Leave a nice review saying how nicely they burned. Okay, and maybe more people will want to buy them, and we could start. You know, this is a renewable energy resource, and
that's true. It is renewable. You can always grow more books.
Yeah, it's like what was the potato chip thing that
crunch all you want,
Jay
we'll
Leno,
make more.
Yeah, Jay Leno advertised back in the 80s. Eat all you want, we'll make more.
Yeah, that's right. So, William, that was the same joke that Darryl used earlier, and it wasn't as good the second time around. But you might not have been tuned in at that point.
I was actually had my radio turned down.
All right, man. Hey, thanks for the call tonight, man. I appreciate it. Didn't sound too serious about burning those books. Toll-free number 855-450-FREE. Here's a quick email that I received from Kelly, and I don't know if it's a he or a she. So Kelly says, "Greetings from the socialist dictatorship of Chicago. I became disenchanted with regular politics when I tried to get a gun for my safety after robberies increased in my neighborhood by 70%. Do you carry in New Hampshire? I understand people have the freedom to openly carry a handgun for their own self-protection. I can't imagine what being this free is like because I have never experienced it." And the answer is, I don't generally open carry in New Hampshire, but I know people who do, and I support absolutely their right to do it. I think it's great that they have that freedom to do that here, and I think that that is something that can contribute to lower crime, because if people who are of the criminal mindset see other folks carrying guns openly, that may actually reduce their likelihood of committing an actual criminal act, a violent act of robbery or murder or whatever it is that they had in mind to commit, but then might choose otherwise because they might lose their life if they do that. And so that's one of the reasons, in my opinion, why New Hampshire is one of the safest places. There are fewer murders here, I believe, than any other state in the Union.
Depends on how you do the statistics.
Okay.
Because
it would figure.
What's that?
That figures, but it's still
because
darn safe.
I saw one of the statistics to where when suicides are included, the number increases.
Should suicide be included, however?
I don't think it should be, because you're not taking someone else's life, but it's still
it doesn't qualify as a violent crime. Violence usually has to be against someone else. I guess you could argue you're doing violence against yourself, but I would say that
you're violating government property. That's why it's illegal if you don't successfully kill yourself.
Wait a minute. You're violating government property. What do you mean by that?
the government claims that you're their property.
Their property. Okay, and then you'll die when they say you can die.
If you attempt to kill yourself and are not successful,
yeah,
that's a crime, and you can wind up going to the crazy house for it.
Yep, it's definitely true that you can carry a gun openly in New Hampshire, and I'm sorry about you folks there in Chicago. I don't know about the rest of Illinois, but I know that Illinois generally is not too friendly towards guns. That is pretty much all I know about Illinois.
That's mostly because of Chicago.
And so if you want to experience what that's like, I would recommend you check out the Free State Project if you love liberty. And it's important that you have to love liberty before you check out the Free State Project, because we don't want somebody here who likes gun freedom but wants to restrict other people's freedom, let's say to have a plant or a drug or something like that. So if you understand what freedom means, and that is that you should be free to live your life how you want, so long as you don't hurt anybody else in the process, and that other people should also have that same liberty, then you're the right person to look at New Hampshire and check out the Free State Project. And don't wait! The Free State Project is about to be done. We're talking about 20,000 people signing up to move to New Hampshire to get active for liberty in our lifetime. It's at 96% of that 20,000 right now.
That's over 19,200.
That's correct. And it's going up at about 40 or 50 signers per day. So you literally have probably no more than the next 2 weeks to get this taken care of if you want to be part of history. Now, you can still move to New Hampshire after the Free State Project reaches 20,000. You could be, 20,001 or whatever, and you're still welcome to come here. But if you want to be in that first 20,000, now would be the time. Do not dilly-dally, do not delay. Go to freestateproject.org and get signed up. Sign the statement of intent, and then start making plans to join us here. And check it out, because it is a lot more free in New Hampshire. In fact, there's 101 reasons why New Hampshire is the best place
there
for liberty.
There are more than 101, because I could think of a few that weren't in the movie.
But the movie is a very, very good movie, and it's an hour-long documentary that goes over 101 of them in just an hour's time. So it's a real fast-moving movie. You can see it for free at 101reasonsfilm.com. It's the 101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire. So let me go on, though. Kelly has a Bitcoin-related question, too. He or she says, quote, I have been listening to your program for the last few weeks and heard the ad about Purse, which offers significant discounts on products sold on Amazon. I'm completely new to the world of Bitcoin, and it's highly confusing. I've discovered I can obtain the current Bitcoin price using the Stocks app on my iPhone. Yahoo Finance actually offers current price information. I didn't realize it was this mainstream. It seems I need to purchase Bitcoin from one source and store it in a wallet with a different company to obtain low or no fees for the transactions. Could you provide suggestions on your favorite wallets and places to obtain Bitcoin? So, first off, you don't have to have your wallet hosted by a company. That is a common way that people do it, like with blockchain.info, for instance. They will offer you a wallet on their website that you can log into and you can use.
Well, with blockchain, you can't connect a bank account and directly purchase the Bitcoin.
I wasn't recommending blockchain. I was giving an example.
Right, I was just saying that the reason most people would wind up, having some company have their wallet is so that they can easily purchase the Bitcoin. So Coinbase is a company that I do business with, and I realize that some people don't like them because of their willingness to comply with regulations.
I have mixed feelings on that topic, but
they make it incredibly easy to purchase Bitcoin, where you connect your bank account, and it's like a 1% fee plus a 15-cent bank transfer fee.
Yeah, there's a 15-cent minimum,
and they can't get away from the 15-cent bank transfer fee.
Yeah, I mean, that only really affects you. It's a 15-cent minimum, I think. If you go...
No, it's 1% plus...
Is it?
It's a 15-cent bank transfer fee.
You know what, Darryl? You're going to have to look at one of my receipts recently, because there was a fairly large purchase that actually the fee they took was actually less than 1%. So I don't know if it's actually even a 1% fee.
Interesting.
I'll have to show that to you.
I know whenever I've purchased Bitcoin before, it's a 1% fee plus a 15-cent transfer fee. But whether it's 1%, less than 1%, it's still an incredibly low.
It's super low
rate.
You can't get it any lower than Coinbase. There are other places and other ways to get Bitcoin than
Airbits, the Airbits wallet for Android, and I'm guessing they have it for Apple as well. They have something connected into their app where I think it's a company called Glidera. And so then you're, doing the thing completely through your phone, and it's connected in somehow. And
is it like credit card?
I'm not sure exactly how Glidero works. I've never used it. I just know that it's built into.
You just know it's there.
I just know it's there, and it's built into the app.
I think for simplicity's sake, we should stick with things we have experience with.
Yes.
And you and I both have experience with Coinbase. They make it pretty easy. Although I got to say, I was recently setting up a bank account that I intended to connect to Coinbase. It was actually easier to go and get the bank account. And the Bitcoin world is supposed to be easier than the old banking world, but the Coinbase thing, I had to email support. Things kind of got held up, and there was a bit of a hassle. But for most people, it's pretty easy. If you just go on Coinbase's website at coinbase.com, you can easily create an account. The linking of it to the bank account can take a few days because, you got to verify that the numbers are right. They do the little tiny deposit and 12 cents, 30 cents. You put that in, and then it verifies. So, it's going to take you a few days to get a proper Coinbase account set up. With linkage to the bank account, but that's how you get the 1% discount. Otherwise, you can walk to a Bitcoin vending machine that might be in your town and pay 5 to 10%. It's Free Talk Live. Learn more at bitcoin.com. Currency is too important a thing to be left in the hands of government bureaucrats, especially when billions of dollars can be created with the swipe of a pen. Overstock.com supports the cryptocurrency movement because it returns the power of an inflation-proof form of money to the people where it belongs. Did you know that you can use Bitcoin to pay for anything Overstock.com sells while enjoying free shipping on orders of 0.211 Bitcoin or more? If you support freedom and the cryptocurrency movement, you should support Overstock.com.
You can control your health care with Liberty Health Share.
Liberty Health Share is like-minded people coming together to share medical costs, which saves money.
You don't even have to pay for procedures that violate your conscience.
Because we all share the same values.
Join the movement of people who share in medical costs and change the way you pay for your health care forever.
Go to libertyhealthshare.org to find out more.
Liberty Health Share.
Together, we're changing health care for good. libertyhealthshare.org.
Are you tired of governments around the world killing innocent people? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin is money that cannot be inflated or controlled by any state. By continuing to use their money, you're perpetuating the killing. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available to you now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. It's Bitcoin.com. Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene and the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Saturday, January 16th, 2016. Silver is trading at $13.93 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,089 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $374. Antiwar.com reports at least 20 people were reported killed on Friday evening and 15 others wounded when attackers launched a pair of bombs against the Splendid Hotel in Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso, forcing their way into the hotel and engaging in a protracted gunfire with security forces. Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb, an Al-Qaeda affiliate based in northwestern Africa, has claimed credit for the attack, which appears to have been related to the use of the hotel by French troops involved in anti-Islamic operations in the region. Witnesses said the attackers wore turbans and were light-skinned, and they appeared to be speaking a language not native to the country, a former French colony. Most of the power base for al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb is centered around Algeria and Mauritania. So far, the casualties have not been identified by nationality, but the speculation, as with such attacks, is that they aim to kill foreign diplomats and tourists. The Burkinan government downplayed the situation, saying the security forces would quickly regain control of the situation.
For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
UPI reports Boston Marathon bomber Dzhokhar Tsarnaev has lost his bid for a new trial and was ordered by a judge to pay more than $100 million in restitution to victims and the relatives of victims involved in the 2013 attack. Federal Judge George A. O'Toole Jr., who heard defense arguments early last year, issued the ruling, according to court documents released on Friday. Attorneys for Tsarnaev had asked for a new trial before the Kyrgyzstan-born bomber was convicted on 30 criminal counts stemming from the dual bombings at the Boston Marathon nearly 3 years ago. Tsarnaev was convicted last April on 17 counts related to the domestic terror attack, which killed 3 and wounded more than 250. A local police officer was killed by Tsarnaev and his older brother Tamerlan days after the bombing. He is imprisoned at a maximum security facility in Colorado, awaiting death by lethal injection. The judge's order instructs Tsarnaev to pay a total of $101,124,027 to 49 individuals to be placed in the Massachusetts Victims Compensation Fund.
You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and Numery supporters. You can join the Fans program for as little as $3 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com.
Reuters reports the U.S. Supreme Court on Friday took no immediate action on whether it will hear President Barack Obama's bid to revive his plan to shield more than 4 million immigrants from deportation, a move that bypassed the Republican-led Congress. The case was not on the list of new cases the court agreed on Friday to take up. The court could make an announcement next week on whether it will hear the immigration dispute. If the justices hear the case, it would become one of the centerpiece cases of its current term, which runs until June. Obama's 2014 executive action, taken after Congress failed to pass bipartisan immigration legislation, was blocked by lower courts after Texas and 25 other Republican-governed states sued to stop it, contending Obama had exceeded his presidential powers under the U.S. Constitution. The Supreme Court judges must decide whether to take up the administration's appeal of a November ruling by the New Orleans-based Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals that upheld a February 2015 decision to halt Obama's actions. Obama's executive order lifting the threat of deportation against more than 4 million undocumented immigrants was directed at people with no criminal record whose children are U.S. citizens. Those eligible would be able to work legally and receive some federal benefits. Should the Supreme Court opt to not hear the case, Obama's program would be effectively dead at the end of his term in January 2017. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
It's the Onion Radio News. Teen sex is linked to alcohol and drugs by the Center for Figuring Out Really Obvious Things. This is Doyle Redland reporting. An exhaustive 4-year, $23 million study of substance abuse and sexual habits of more than 2,500 American teens has confirmed that young people between the ages of 13 and 18 who drink and or use drugs are more likely to be sexually active. Dr. Gerald Eckersley is director of the Boston-based organization.
We found that this phenomenon also occurs among adults as well as every population everywhere in the world that has ever existed since the dawn of time.
The center has sent a teleprompter-ready press release of its findings to more than 400 local TV news affiliates across the U.S., along with stock video footage of beer displays and teens smoking and drinking at parties. Doyle Redland for the Onion Radio News, online at theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. Join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. With you tonight, Ian here.
And Darryl.
And you can join us online anytime you want over at freetalklive.com. And we do accept Bitcoin, by the way. If you want to throw something in the Free Talk Live Bitcoin tip jar, just drop on over to bitcoin.freetalklive.com. If you have Bitcoin, if you don't, then there are a variety of ways to get it. And we were just talking about one of them that both Darryl and I recommend, which is Coinbase. Like a lot of companies, I don't think they're perfect. I think that there are some things that they could be better about, but I understand that they feel they got to jump through all these various government hoops in order to do their business, and I don't blame anybody for doing that. So I'm still willing to utilize their services, and they've been very, very helpful in general. I mean, I've found that their customer service is generally helpful the times that I have needed to use it. But overall, great way to get Bitcoin. You want to learn more about Bitcoin, like which wallets there are available? There are a bunch of different ones from which to choose. You can go to bitcoin.com. They've got a list of several wallets that they recommend. There's also different ways to acquire Bitcoin. Bitcoin right now, it's gone down over the last few days. It had been up as high as $450 per Bitcoin in recent days. But as of, what is it, at 380, what, at 380 or something?
It's 386.83 right now, according to the app that I have on my phone.
So, you never know what's going to go on tomorrow with it. It could go up, it could go down. But a lot of us who support Bitcoin would like to think that it's going to go up over time, especially as more people and more companies decide to start accepting Bitcoin. You've got some big companies as large as Dell Computer, Overstock.com, Wikipedia.
Expedia.
Right. Didn't you just buy some plane tickets with that?
I just bought a plane ticket on Cheap Air, which is a competitor to Expedia. But Cheap Air actually had a slightly better rate. But Cheap Air and Expedia both take Bitcoin.
Which is awesome. So there's all kinds of websites.
Web hosting. I've paid for web hosting and domain registration with Bitcoin.
And there's even, I think it's at Backpage.com. You can buy yourself some adult services with Bitcoin. And then there's also things like the Silk Road, the underground marketplaces where you can buy illegal things with Bitcoin. And some would say that that's not good for Bitcoin's reputation. But ultimately, it's money, and cash is used for illegal things all the time.
Yes.
So keep that in mind as well. Let me just give you a little bit more here from the lady who wrote in. I presume lady. It could be a guy, Kelly. Sometimes that's a guy. Sometimes it's not. Anyway, Kelly says Kelly's asking about Bitcoin, like what are some suggestions for favorite wallets and places to obtain Bitcoin. We didn't actually answer the favorite wallet question very thoroughly. You mentioned Airbits. There are these sites like Coinbase that Coinbase is a wallet and it's also a way to get Bitcoin. So
yes.
it does both of those things. There's
and Coinbase also offers cold storage in addition to the wallet.
Okay.
So
what's that?
That's where the Bitcoin are stored offline. So it's,
you mean the key's offline? I mean, the Bitcoin's never offline. The Bitcoin's always on the blockchain.
Right, but the key is stored offline.
Okay.
So it winds up, it takes you a couple days to wind up getting the funds out of what they call a vault, but it's basically what would be considered cold storage. So it's an offline wallet per se. So it makes the funds safer.
Is the Coinbase web wallet, or not web wallet, is the Coinbase like phone wallet any good? Do you have much experience with it?
I do. It's not a separate thing. It allows you to access your regular account through the phone. The last time I tried to use their phone app, it was buggy and it crashed. So hopefully they've updated that.
Yeah, I hope so too. But you can have more than one wallet too if you want.
Yes.
You could use Coinbase to purchase your Bitcoin, and then you could send that Bitcoin over to a different wallet that you have on your cell phone. So named wallet, but
MyCelium.
That sounds right.
Mycelium.
It's, in my opinion, the best one that's out there for Android. I don't know if it exists for iPhone.
I really like the Airbits wallet.
Airbits is great.
It's one of the two that I have on this new phone.
I think that's my recommendation for all newbies is probably Airbits
because it also shows you where you can spend your Bitcoin.
In real life. It shows you real life brick and mortar stores that you can go to spend Bitcoin. Presuming there are some in your area, and not all areas have them yet. But we do. We've got some here in Little Keene, New Hampshire, so you never know what you'll have. You can actually go to coinmap.org, and you can look and see what are the Bitcoin-accepting businesses in your region. Let's go to your calls and thoughts. Airbitz, by the way, is spelled AIRBITZ. Let's go to Larry first, listening to WIBC-FM in Indianapolis. Hello, Larry.
Yes, thank you for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to share a personal experience. I have a son who is paralyzed from the waist down, and he has these horrible muscle spasms that literally twist him in half and throw his legs all over the place.
Yikes.
And they have him on a medication, but he's at lethal doses. He can't increase the dose.
Whoa.
And what works, is when he combines his medication with a little marijuana, it completely eliminates the spasms, just darn near eliminates them.
It's amazing.
And,
I mean, would you qualify that as a miracle drug?
Well, I would say that there are, of course, nobody's really looking for ways to utilize it in a medical fashion. Okay.
Oh, some are.
But
there are some people that are studying that.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying that if there's more studies, who knows how useful it could be.
Oh, I agree. I think that we've just seen the tip of the iceberg as far as what this plant can do.
You know what the medical community told him? You know what they told him?
Don't do it.
Well, you're just going to have to deal with pain.
Oh, man.
And I don't think anybody in their right mind, understands when you see somebody going through a problem like that and they literally break out in a cold sweat from their entire body. I mean, from head to foot, from the pain. Now, that's intense pain.
Well, okay, so he takes the medical cannabis, lowers pain from what, 10 to, on the old pain scale, 1 to 10. What would you say? And obviously, you're not him, so you don't know exactly, but maybe he's expressed this.
I'm saying I've actually witnessed it, okay, and watched it just completely subside, and these muscle spasms. And I was sitting there one day, and I saw his legs just start jumping, foot and a half in the air. And I'm sitting there going, "Wow, are you suddenly getting feeling back in the lower part of your leg?" No, that's the spasm. And what they don't understand is every time it does one of those spasms, it torques the lower spine, and that's what puts him in pain.
So the cannabis stops the spasms, meaning not as much pain, or not even near as much pain. Is that right?
It to be in conjunction with the normal medication.
Right.
Okay.
Using the two together.
It seems to work exceptionally well. But, I mean...
Does it, just a quick question, Larry, does that mean that he can reduce, because you said the medication he was on was near a lethal dose. Does that mean that if he takes the cannabis, is he still also taking the same near lethal dose of the regular medicine, or is he able to reduce the regular medicine that he takes along with taking the cannabis?
No, as a matter of fact, they will give him a prescription for things like morphine and Demerol, okay? Which he won't take because it just tears up the stomach. He has ulcers because when he did use it, okay? So there are horrible side effects from long-term use of some of those other medications, okay? So this is the one that doesn't have any of the horrible side effects and works very effectively.
Larry, thanks for sharing your personal story tonight. I do appreciate hearing from you. You can get on the line with us here. It's Ian and Darryl on Free Talk Live. Our toll-free number, 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Join us here.
Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveatpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. You can buy them through expresscoin.com with a check or money order. There are other ways to get Bitcoin, but that's fast, safe, and easy. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveatpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveatpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com.
The Genesis Communications Network is one of America's premier broadcasters of captivating talk radio. We thank you for listening. Now, just imagine, there are thousands of people who are just as passionate about radio as you are. But what you may not realize is how easy and affordable it is to advertise with us. Radio commercials for your business could be heard on hundreds of radio stations across the U.S. every day. We can help you by creating an effective radio advertising campaign for your company. From script writing to producing your commercial, just like the one you're listening to right now. No other network provides the level of customer service we do. When it comes to radio advertising, we are your one-stop shop. And no matter how big or small your business is, we can help. Email us at advertise@gcnlive.com, and an experienced advertising executive will help you take the first step towards driving more customers to your business or website. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
If you're looking for work, you know the math. There are many more applicants than openings, so you need to stand out, not blend into the blah, blah, blah your interviewer is hearing from your competition. Here's a tip. In your interview, you will be judged more by the questions you ask than the answers you give. Yes, do anticipate the obvious job interview questions and prepare concise, insightful, glass-half-full sounding responses. And you should interview your interviewer. Seem genuinely curious about what will help get results. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. You want to cut through the clutter. For more tips for job seekers and making all the other conversations you have more productive, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
You can watch the LRN Studio Cam and chat with other listeners anytime at cam.lrn.fm. That's cam.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Join us on the radio. The toll-free number for you is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Also, we've got Skype. By the way, I don't think anyone has used Skype here tonight. You can be the first tonight. The Skype username is LRN.FM, so feel free to reach out to us in that way. With you tonight, you've got Ian.
And Darryl. We
were just talking about Bitcoin. We're going to get right back into your calls, but I want to let you know one of the best reasons to get Bitcoin, besides the fact that it's a digital currency, it is decentralized, it's not controlled by any government or any bank, besides the fact that it's arguably the most valuable currency in the world. Besides all of those things, Bitcoin can help save you money, meaning on your purchases at Amazon. How about saving 20% on everything that you buy from Amazon from here on out? If you have Bitcoin, that's what you can do. That's what I do every time I need something from Amazon. I haven't ordered something personally from Amazon in, I don't know, almost an entire year at this point, because I started using Purse the very early portion of 2015. I've purchased something like 30 plus transactions on Purse. SaveAtPurse.com is where you can go. Save AT Purse. SaveAtPurse.com. Go there, get signed up for an account, and then you fund your account with Bitcoin. So you do need to have Bitcoin to make this deal work, but you will save easily 20% on anything through Amazon. It's possible to save more than 20%. 35?
We've both saved 40 and 45%.
40? Yeah, I've said 45 is my peak. If I'm in a rush to get something, I'll put it at 20 or 25%. It goes almost immediately, usually within an hour or two max. If I'm not in a rush to get something, I'll try 40%, and I'll see if I can get someone to bite on that. Basically, you're putting your Bitcoin into a marketplace, and somebody who is willing to pay a lot more than what Bitcoin might cost in most markets.
Willing to pay a premium.
Yeah, they're willing to pay a premium, is going to buy what you want for you and have it shipped right to your door. And I just recently got my new cell phone. It's a refurb model, but I got it for 25% off.
We both recently got cell phones through Purse.
You inspired me on that one. Go to SaveAtPurse.com. SaveAtPurse.com. Get started there. Let's go to your phone calls and thoughts. Dove in Pennsylvania. Dove, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hello, it's Joe, J-O-E.
Well, I don't know how they ended up getting Dove in the board op. I'm sorry about that. Go ahead, Joe.
What I wanted to say, I'm a retired bus driver. I used to go to Atlantic City quite often, and we had a man that would ride to Atlantic City on a wheelchair, with a wheelchair, and he had both his legs cut off. He would go down to Atlantic City on the boardwalk wearing a hat that said Vietnam vet.
Mm-hmm.
And he collected a lot of money. I always thought that is wrong. He was never in the service.
How do you know?
Oh, he told me.
Well, yeah, it's definitely fraudulent. I mean, I don't support people engaging in fraud, but I mean, probably a lot of people were just giving him money because he had his legs cut off. I mean, even if he just had been out there with his legs cut off without the claim of being a Vietnam vet, he'd probably do okay.
He made tons of money by being a false Vietnam vet. He was way too young to have been in the service.
Ah, okay. Gotcha.
I just wanted to voice that with you. I always thought it was wrong.
Joe, thanks for sharing your call and thoughts. I appreciate it. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. I do agree that, being fraudulent, even if you're not trying to get money out of people, is the wrong thing to do. But I can think of a lot of things that are more offensive than what that guy did. Let's go to Tim, listening in Wyoming. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Tim.
Hi, Ian. How are you doing tonight?
Go ahead.
I wanted to call in. Yeah. Thanks for taking my call. I appreciate it.
Sure, it's what we do.
Tonight. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I listened. But I wanted to call and apologize. You weren't actually in the studio when I called, but I called and basically laid out my irritation with you. And
he called on Thursday.
I should have. Pardon me?
You called on the day I'm not.
Ian was looking confused, so I was just letting Ian know that you had called on Thursday.
Oh, I know. I presumed that that's what he meant. But okay.
Right. When I called in and I was trying to make a point, and I won't even say the other person's name that was there, but it doesn't matter who it was. But you were there, and I was getting a little bit irritated because you kept shuffling my statements off to the side and drawing attention to another part of something else, and I was trying to make a point, and I never did get a chance to make my point.
Well, here you are now. What is it that you wanted to say?
Well, no, it isn't. It isn't that I didn't make the point that night. Well, honestly, yes, it is, because we were talking about the borders and libertarianism as far as in relation to borders, and I thought to myself, well, the idea. I mean, you live in the state of New Hampshire, unless I'm mistaken. I mean, you live in the.
I live in the Shire, but some people call it the state of New Hampshire.
Okay, but I mean, it's a geographical region. I mean, you can call it a state or whatever it is, but the fact of the matter is that it has its own conventions and its own laws and its own rules and its own understanding of how people should act and how they should continue to coexist with one another. With the libertarian idea of having the state, I mean, the abolition of the state, I guess, is essentially what you were trying to tell me on the other night was that
Wait, was this the night where I wasn't on the show, or a night where I was
he had
on the
also
show?
called on Wednesday.
Okay.
No, it's when I called. When I called, and I said I wasn't even going to call. I wasn't even going to say what the other person's name was. The friend of there were two other hosts on that. There were two other hosts. There was one.
So what are you driving at? New Hampshire? It's its own place.
Right, it's its own place. But I mean, there are 50 states in the union. Okay.
Yep.
Maybe the union in and of itself is an aberration, if you want to call it that, because each state is separate. Each state is. When I write down United States of America, I write small u for United, and the states with a capital S, and America for a capital A. But I don't say, I say U.S. of A, and I put the small u, because the United part is the least important of what the states are about. We all, I mean, we as
well, in theory,
general,
at least. What you're saying is that the states are supposed to be the ones that hold the real political power in the United States.
They're superior to the federal government.
In theory, that's the way it's supposed to be. But these state governments have signed agreements with the federal government to get federal money for things like highway funds, and so they've given up whatever level of sovereignty. If you believe states can have sovereignty, they've certainly surrendered it to the federal government and are now much more obedient than they really should be. We need to see more states refusing the federal government and telling them, no, we don't want your money, and we're not even going to give you any money in the first place. No, we don't want to jump through your hoops. We don't want to follow your regulations. Leave us alone. But it's we're a long way from that happening. So I think that things are more homogenized in this country than they should be.
Right. That's exactly what I was about to say. Is that I mean I wasn't completely disagreeing with what you'd been saying. I was just saying it was the point that I was trying to make is I was trying to go on and there were, as I say, there were two other people there who. Or three other people.
Well, hopefully you've made your point tonight, Tim. Thanks for the call.
Yeah.
Of course, we're here 7 nights a week. If you feel like you didn't get a fair shake, and I understand, sometimes, and I don't really even remember what he was talking about, which is why I hate it. I don't really like it when people call in to refer to previous calls. Like, I don't know what you said 2 days ago. I don't know where I was on Wednesday.
I couldn't tell you what I said 2 segments ago.
Toll-free number, 855-450-FREE. Were you saying that about you or about me?
Both.
855-450-3733. Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Removing bad taste and odor from your drinking water is easy. Removing the bad stuff you don't taste is what ProPure does best. Water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of ProPure countertop, inline, gravity, and household water filtration products. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer or ProPureUSA.com. That's PROPUR USA.com or call 800-544-3533.
Free Talk Live.
What's the difference between a stoplight and a school bus?
A stoplight is a light, and a school bus is a school bus.
Full of children.
And so
the light doesn't have any kids in it.
That's what you call a educated derelict.
Yeah,
you gotta come out of Harvard.
I'm really not a derelict. I work for a living.
You are an educated derelict. Well,
Barbara,
you know what?
I agree with
Have fun,
you.
Play your game.
No.
You're a
Because I'll tell you
fornicator,
what,
Mark.
When
Barbara.
you pass that next red light, I sure hope they get you good. Now,
Barbara,
hope you don't kill anybody.
I'm agreeing with you.
Oh, she hung up on you, Mark.
But I agree with you, Barbara. I was telling you that I agree with you except for the stoplight thing.
Children, Mark. There's children around. At every red light, you could possibly kill someone.
This, by the way, gentlemen.
If you would run a red light at 3 in the morning when there's no traffic as far as the eye can see, then you would just as soon run over a school bus and kill all the kids inside.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is your Robertson Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. In early trading Friday, gold is $14 higher at $1,092 per ounce. Silver is 21 cents higher at $14.10 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at $387 US. Gold and silver are making big moves today, fueled by growing concern in both U.S. and overseas markets. Prepare yourselves. Give us a call today at 800-874-9760 or online at rrbi.co.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me.
Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, hey, who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait a minute.
Forget it. Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable! Why are you running from me?
Because you scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. We invite you here, the toll-free number, 855-450-FREE. That is also available via Skype. You can call us on Skype at username LRN.FM. And again, the toll-free number, 855-450-3733. With you in studio, you've got Ian.
And Darryl.
Don't forget to join us online at freetalklive.com. If you enjoy the show, then please become a Free Talk Live amplifier. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. And it's a way for you to get behind Free Talk Live to help us spread to more radio stations around the country. We added Dallas, Texas this week in what is arguably our largest marketplace yet. Yeah, there was a time when we had a station directly in the heart of New York City. Unfortunately, they ended up changing format. So as of right now, Dallas is the big one. And so welcome aboard to all of our new Dallas listeners. And it's all made possible because of Free Talk Live amplifiers like you. In fact, the way we ended up getting the Dallas station on was through our friend Skip, who runs Talk Shows USA. He's an industry veteran. He's been around the talk radio business forever. He knows a lot of people, and he's been kind of repping the show for a number of years. I don't know if it's been quite a decade, but it's several years that he's been behind the show. And we pay him monthly for his services, and it was looking like I might have to cut him from the AMP program because we had lost some contributions over time. But when Mark, our former regular co-host here on Free Talk Live, decided to walk from his on-air role in frustration and was asking people to contribute to the AMP program, we ended up getting enough contributions to where I could keep Skip on board, because literally I was about ready to cut him out of the budget toward the end of the last year, and because it was going to be either cut Darryl or cut Skip, and obviously I want to keep Darryl.
Right.
So, but it was nice to be able to keep Skip as well, due to the influx of cash from the AMP program from listeners like you, and because we kept Skip 2 weeks later, or 3 weeks. It hasn't been that long since we decided to keep him on board. He contacted me with this lead on this Dallas station. So it was literally the amplifiers that made Dallas happen. So thank you, Free Talk Live amplifiers. You can join the AMP program, get the perks like access to the AMP-only call-in lines, the AMP-only podcast, as well as the AMP-only Facebook group, and get behind the show and help us spread Free Talk Live, spread the ideas of freedom. Go to amp.freetalklive.com. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. AMP. amp.freetalklive.com. Use any major credit card through PayPal. Use Visa or MasterCard right there on our website. And now you can AMP with Bitcoin. You can do prepaid Bitcoin, or you can do a monthly Coinbase-based Bitcoin contribution. Very, very easy to set up. go to amp.freetalklive.com. We sure do appreciate it. Let's go to your phone calls and thoughts. Austin is listening in Indianapolis to WIBC FM. Hello, Austin.
Hi, hey, how's it going?
What's on your mind tonight? You're on the radio.
Oh, good. Well, I just wanted to respond to the father of the son that was paralyzed, who was taking marijuana to help his symptoms. I just wanted to mention that there's this thing called CBD oil that's purely medicinal and is being sold in a few states in this country that I feel like would do the same things and for kids with parents that are maybe afraid of the psychoactive ingredients in a 10 or 12-year-old kid. There's something purely medicinal out there available in some states,
Now, CBD is another one of the active ingredients in the marijuana plant, as I understand it. Darryl, I know that you've experimented to some extent with cannabis tincture.
Yes.
Do you have much experience with the CBD oil?
I've never used anything that is just CBD.
You've had the mix of CBD, THC, and
just the regular cannabis in a tincture form. And there are two main types of cannabis. There's cannabis indica and cannabis sativa. And the tinctures that work for me are a 50-50 blend of the two. So if it's like 80-20 of one or the other, it doesn't work the way that I need it to.
I think you're going to find that everybody's different and their medical problems are different. And so whereas a 50-50 blend may work for you, the CBD oil may work for somebody else with a different problem. So I think it's important that you're pointing this out, Austin, that what you're pointing out is that not everything from cannabis will get you high. In the case of the CBD oil, that may actually be able to treat somebody's symptoms or whatever their issues are without the concomitant effect of you getting stoned. Which, by the way, some people, when they're using cannabis for medical treatments, they only have to take like 1 or 2 puffs and they've got their issue solved for the moment. So some people don't even really toke enough to even get stoned from it, that they're just literally getting the medicinal effects, and then they put the pipe down. So there are ways to kind of control it that way as well.
That is crazy that there are so many active ingredients in there that are doing so many different things, and we really don't know much about it. And CBD seems like it's the first one that's isolated that seems like it can do things that are really starting to like boggle what we really believe about the human body,
Thanks for sharing your thoughts tonight, Austin. I appreciate it. The toll-free number, if you want to join us, is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. I wanted to talk about Ross Ulbricht, and this story that is from Reason.com is just too detailed, and I feel like we can't do it justice at this point, but maybe we'll hold that for the live Sunday edition of the program. In other news, and we're going to continue with your calls and your thoughts, certainly, there's a piece here from Bloomberg about Facebook. Is Facebook making us dumber? By Cass Sunstein. Why does misinformation spread so quickly on social media? Why doesn't it get corrected? When the truth is so easy to find, why do people accept falsehoods? A new study focusing on Facebook users provides strong evidence that the explanation is confirmation bias, people's tendency to seek out information that confirms their beliefs and to ignore contrary information. And think about this. There have been times on Facebook, maybe where you have done this, where some friend of yours or someone you thought was a friend posts something that's offensive. You don't like what they post, so you've unfriended that person as a result of that. You don't want to see the things that that person is posting. That is probably your confirmation bias playing out there. It turns out to play a pivotal role, says Sunstein, in the creation of online echo chambers. This finding bears on a wide range of issues, including the current presidential campaign, the acceptance of conspiracy theories, and competing positions in international disputes.
Okay, so that's not just limited to online social media, though.
Sure.
Because I've seen things to where something wound up going viral, and then the mainstream media reported on it, and then a day later it winds up getting found out that it was a hoax story from, some thing called like the Daily Current or something.
Or the onion.
Currant is a type of berry. Well, people are smart enough now to realize that the onion is satire.
Yeah, but didn't the onion trick the Chinese government not too long ago?
They did with some sort of Kim Jong-un sexiest
Person of the
man
year or something
whatever.
like that, yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't actually the Chinese government. It was the Communist Party of China, which some people would say is one and the same. But technically, it's a separate entity.
There's still a lot of people that don't know what the onion is, Daryl. You and I know, and a lot of people we know know.
You know, the people that are doing news writing for ABC and
they
CBS,
should know.
They know.
They should, yeah.
But some site that they've never heard of before that reports, the North Korean state media says we've landed on the sun. They're just going to go with it and be like, oh, yeah, look at what these idiots in Korea believe.
Let's go to the phones, and we can talk more about Facebook dumbing people down. Is it? Well, let's first go to Doyle, listening in Indiana. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Doyle.
Hello.
Hey, you're on the radio.
Okay, I just want to tell you that I was listening, and it's talking about the guy going out east out there to, anyway, with a wheelchair, getting money under false advertisement saying that he was a veteran.
Yes, sir.
And his leg was cut off. I don't have no problem with that if people are stupid enough to go for that. But what really bugs me is all these organizations sending me mail with a nickel or a dime or a dollar or a stamp or something like that. I mean, this has been going on for several years.
Sending you mail with a nickel or a dime. So hold that thought. I'm not sure what you're getting at. It's Free Talk Live. As a pioneer of the e-commerce movement, Overstock.com is proud to be the first major retailer to accept Bitcoin. Overstock was the first because Patrick Byrne, Overstock's CEO and founder, firmly believes in personal freedom and cryptocurrency. Over the past 16 years, Overstock has furnished over 18 million homes with a diverse line of products to suit everyone's unique styles and preferences. Support Overstock and freedom of choice while enjoying free shipping on orders of 0.211 Bitcoin or more. Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com.
Hi, this is Sophie Winnick, longtime distributor and user of Longevity products. In the last few years, my family went through a crisis. Everything else in my life, including my business, had to be put on the back burner. Thankfully, life is getting back to normal now. But the one thing I never had to worry about was my business and my monthly commission. I've been a distributor for Longevity for over 17 years, since before it was Longevity. And I've got to say, the most amazing thing about this company is the people. While my family was in crisis, other distributors stepped in and helped my customers, simply because that's what Longevity people do, even for people they don't know. For me, it has never been about getting rich. It was about a product I could stand behind, a company I could count on, and a monthly commission check that has never, not once, been late in 17 years. Longevity is truly a business for everyone, even people who have too much to do. I'm Sophie Winnick. I'm just like you. I have a real life, real ups and downs, but I know I will always have Longevity.
This is a national health care alert from the Health Hotline. If you, a family member, or a loved one suffers from knee pain and have Medicare as your primary insurance, we've got great news. You could qualify for a pain-relieving knee brace at little or no cost to you. Get free delivery, and all the paperwork is handled by our accredited suppliers at no charge to you. So if you're on Medicare and have knee pain, don't wait. You may qualify to immediately receive a pain-relieving knee brace at little or no cost. Friendly agents are standing by 24/7 to help you. We also have other pain-relieving braces too for your shoulder, ankle, or back. You may be eligible to get these items and more at little or no out-of-pocket cost. Our friendly representatives are standing by now to help you, so please call now. 800-301-2963, 800-301-2963, 800-301-2963, 800-301-2963.
Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can join us here in these remaining moments. Toll-free number, 855-450, free, 855-450-3733. And joining you in studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Darryl.
And don't forget to check out Darryl on his campaign site, DarrylWPerry.com. I got the pleasure of seeing him not really debate, but speak in a group of presidential candidates for the Libertarian Party today. There were 3 attending at the New Hampshire Libertarian Party yearly convention that took place today. And you were the third of 3 speakers, Darryl, and I think it was good that you went last because you cleaned up after the other 2 made it pretty clear that they were not principled libertarians, and you are. So anyone who's looking to support a real principled libertarian for the presidential nomination this year should get behind Darryl W. Perry. Website, DarrylWPerry.com. Let's go continue here. We actually, a gentleman dropped off the line just a moment ago. But he had called to express frustration with these fundraising letters that send him a dime or a nickel or whatever. Was it Doyle? Was that his name? I don't recall.
I think so.
Okay, I think we might actually have him back here. Let me. He dropped off. Is this the same gentleman who was just on the line a moment ago?
Yes.
Okay, so you were telling us about fundraising letters where they give you a dime or something. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, they sent wanting contributions, so they try to bribe me by putting a dime and a nickel, maybe even a dollar bill, and want me to send the nickel or the dime or the dollar bill back with a check or whatever I feel like I can afford. But to me, it's like bribery. Now, that guy that was going out there to Asbury Park or wherever it was out there with a wheelchair, acting like a veteran and his legs cut off and was making money. Well, I don't have no problem with that, but these people that, trying to bribe me.
Now, is this, I'm curious, I've heard of this particular strategy under the auspices of these like telechurches or whatever, where they send the people who will contact them and, ask for a prayer request or whatever the heck. They send them like $1, and then they claim that they have to send it back with more money, and that they're seeding into God, and God will give them more money later on.
I've gotten stuff in the mail where it's a nickel and some letter saying, like, this nickel is for you to keep, but if you send us in blah 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 for this purpose, then we can help fund these disabled something another. So it's completely unsolicited, not from any organization that I've ever donated to ever in life, but somehow, they'll just find an address from somewhere and send something.
And they bought a mailing list.
The thing that I absolutely hate is when they would just wind up sending me mailing address labels. I don't want your address. If I wanted address labels, I would go to Vistaprint and order some address labels.
Yep. Code FTL.
Well, that's what they're doing. They're giving me all these address labels, Christmas cards.
Just throw them away, man. It ain't even worth looking at it.
All kinds of junk that I don't need.
I heard you, Doyle. Thanks
There's
for your
a
call.
website that I go on sometime where a lot of times the comment section is more interesting than the articles.
Sure.
And one of the people posted that several years ago they got a gavel from some political candidate, and it was, like, I'm honoring you with blah, blah, blah. Here's a gavel. Now send my campaign $700.
Wow.
And so the guy was like, I kept the gavel and threw away the letter. Like, you're going to be dumb enough to send me something unsolicited. I'm going to keep it.
Let's go to DW in Sacramento via Skype. Hello, DW. You're on Free Talk
Hey,
Live.
gentlemen.
Hey.
Good to talk to two anarchists with a brain. Thank
I
you
am
for
a
having me on.
voluntarist. I don't use the term anarchist. I don't really much care for it.
Yeah, I know you're hung up on that word. Anyway, I just wanted to thank you.
Maybe you're the one hung up on it, but go ahead.
All right. No, I'm actually an anarchist. I call myself that. But in any case, I was really appreciative of last week's show, last Saturday. You guys really hit a nerve with some of these constitutionalists calling in. They really didn't like the idea of not being able to swear fealty to the country and to the Constitution. And that's a concept, patriotism, that I have never understood. So I really appreciate that you guys are promoting the ideas of liberty and not trying to stick to labels.
So when you say you never understood patriotism when you were growing up, you never really were with the whole Pledge of Allegiance thing or any of that?
I never understood pledging allegiance to a flag. I never understood being united with some group that supposedly had, the power to make me stand and I don't know, swear a pledge to anybody. Just never made sense to me.
Gotcha.
Anyway,
yeah, I was changing the lyrics to the Pledge of Allegiance from a very, very early age.
There's a very good essay for anybody that might think that we're kind of crazy. Like, patriotism's a good thing. There's an essay, I believe it's by Voltaire de Cleyre, titled Patriotism, a Menace to Liberty.
Yeah, I've heard of it, actually.
Yeah, it discourages independent thought, in my opinion. I think it's a danger. Yes. I think it's a danger not only to liberty, but just to you as a human being. And being a distinct individual. Anyway, go ahead, DW.
I just had a question about secession. I'm currently reading Jason Soren's book on secessionism. I know that you folks aren't necessarily experts on the topic, but I wanted to get your take. The book Secessionism proposes an idea that when a secessionist movement deals with its ruling body, when the state has a willingness to make concessions, then peaceful resolution during secession is likely. But if concessions are not made, in other words, if no compromise is made, then violence is likely to ensue. So if looking forward to a possible secession in the future here in New Hampshire, do you believe that we can afford to, or that we should morally compromise when dealing with the state over our independence?
Can you give me an example of what might be compromised? You're talking about a compromise that would somehow keep New Hampshire in the United States?
Yeah. So, for example, in the book, he talks about the difference between autonomy and independence. One of them being that autonomy supposedly doesn't give the ability of the country to tax or make its own rules about financial or monetary policy, but it does allow them to vote, for example. So, in other words, to what degree, as secessionists, are we supposed to compromise with the state, and to what degree are we supposed to stand up and say, no, we want an independent state, after your opinions?
I've never read the book, so I can't make any sort of judgments on what Jason has written in the book, and I don't completely know if I understand your question. So let me ask a similar question.
Sure.
Or I guess rather counter with a question and see if this is something that you're asking about. So, for instance, the Native American Indians living on reservations have some semblance of sovereignty, autonomy, if you will.
Correct.
But no one would dare say that they are independent nations in North America.
Mm-hmm.
So are you asking, would I be willing to, as a secessionist in New Hampshire, be willing to accept something similar to where most federal laws don't really apply, but would still wind up having to pay income tax and would get to vote for president?
Yeah, would that be acceptable to you? What I'm trying to gauge is two things. I'm trying to gauge if people in the freedom movement are willing to compromise with their government. In other words, if they're willing to work with the government to achieve independence, or if this is something that people are going to take up arms and do violently, I guess.
I don't see the
Let me rephrase your question a little bit. The question basically is, are you willing to negotiate with hostage takers?
Basically, yes. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Is violence likely, or is peaceful solutions likely?
Well, obviously, if the government wants to get violent, there's very little that we can do about that. But I think that when you look at the amount of liberty activists that are here in New Hampshire that are active in the political sphere, you can see that obviously compromise is necessary within politics. We don't have the number of people to dominate the legislature and the governor's office. So the liberty reps, some of them are pushing to the extremes, and then if you push to the extreme, then you end up with a compromise that hopefully moves the ball toward the idea of liberty. And so I expect that you are going to see more nullification, which is kind of like a compromise compared to secession. There's a lot of people who are more comfortable, and I think Jason Sorens, who is the founder of the Free State Project that you referred to earlier, I think he's one of those people who wouldn't mind seeing secession but doesn't think the time is right for it right now.
Right, and that's even one of the things that he said in Convention 2014, I believe it was.
Yeah, I would
recommend,
recommend
was on the secession panel.
What I'd recommend to you, DW, is go on to YouTube, search for Convention Secession, and you'll find the last 3 secession panels that we've had, where a lot of these things have been discussed in great detail. And I think it was it was 2014, which actually included Jason Sorens in that panel. So I recommend you check those out. And thanks for the call tonight. I think that whichever way it goes, it's going to be an interesting future here in New Hampshire as more people come here for the Free State Project. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement, and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material.